Good morning, everybody. I am Mel Barrett,
I'm Rebecca Lavoie.
and welcome to Something's Off, a true crime podcast where we talk about things that are off to us.
Yes. You mean our true crime podcast with 10,000 subscribers on which we talk about things that are off
That's
to us?
that's the one that has 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Yep,
Nice.
that's the one I'm
Y-
talking about.
You must be very proud.
I am very proud. Are you very
Mhm.
proud?
I'm extremely proud. I always knew it was going to happen. I actually think we could get up to like 20, 25-ish at some point. We're never going to be like Judge Jolene big, but I
You
think we
don't
could
know.
do 20 or 25. That's true.
I
There
think
are
we
some
could.
people that confound me that have a jillion subscribers. And I'm like,
I think we could get up to 50, somewhere between 50 and 100.
that would be a lot for us,
That's what I think.
considering how dopey we are. Oh my God, like I'm all washed out on the side of my face. The
Okay,
longest days of the year are really like mucking with my light right now. It's really a problem.
I am sitting next to a window too. We go to Delaware a couple weeks out of the year to take the
Yeah,
kids to the beach. So we're here for a couple of days and I'm not in my regular studio. I'm not on my regular mic, and that's stressing me out.
you're fine. It's just a little echoey. It still sounds better than 95% of what's on YouTube.
Is
By the way,
it's echoey?
still echo, yeah. By the way,
Mm.
congratulations on your resignation from being the Prime Minister of England. I'm sure you're going to be able to have plenty more time to spend with your family now.
Yeah, Kara and I have to step down.
Mm.
I'm the stunt double for Keir Starmer.
That's what we always hear. We hear that's one of the people that people say that you tend to resemble. I don't see it. I actually don't. I also think it's not
My hair.
kind.
My hair's crazy. Oh, it doesn't bother me. I don't think
But I
he's
do
an
congratulate
unattractive
you.
person.
You are going to be able to spend more time with your family. And I think that's great.
True.
I'm talking really quietly because you have an echo, and I'm like, we got to be really quiet.
Wait, maybe I can take off echo. Hold on.
It's just
My
funny
echo
because
cancellation is on.
you know how when you're in an echoey, you're probably way less echoey than you would be if it weren't on. But you know how like when
Yeah.
you're in an echoey room, you feel like you got to talk quieter. I'm like, wait a
Mhm.
minute, I'm not the one in the echoey room. What am I doing? Why am I being all like, so congratulations on us reaching 10,000 subscribers. It's a real
I
achievement.
know. I was like, why are we're very we're very tamped down. Do you hear Ruby running around on the hardwood floor?
Tick, tick, no, is she going tick, 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 tick? I will be. That reminds me, Kevin and I once went for my 50th birthday. We went to this resort in Mexico, and I used points to upgrade us to like the fancy the area of the hotel where you have like
Listen,
extra service
Rebecca,
and stuff.
don't try to
No,
act like you fly
no,
first
but
class, a cheap bitch.
I did with my mom because it was the first time she's been on a
I'm
plane since the
referencing a
80s.
tweet. I'm
Oh yeah.
referencing a
Oh,
tweet.
I am a cheap bitch. Oh, that guy who was like,
Yeah.
just fly. I was saying I took my mom on a flight for the first time since she's flown since the mid 80s
Mhm.
and blah, 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 blah. He was like, just take her first class, you cheap bitch. And I was like, here's my boarding pass, motherfucker.
Fucker.
We don't save these points for nothing. We save them to take our
Right.
moms on their first flight since the 80s. And so they can get through and feel like, because the first class now is like it was when she flew in the 80s. It's just like regular. It's just like,
Yeah.
you get a drink for free and like the people are nice to you and you
A
can use the
meal.
bathroom when you want. It's literally how it used to be. They don't have meals on flights to Chicago. It's too short. But
Oh.
yeah, she had a great time and she did all of the things and she slept on the plane and she was super relaxed. And I was literally just like, hey, so mom, here's what's going to happen. You're going to walk up to the TSA guy and you're going to hand him your ID and then you're going to have to look into that camera and he's not going to say anything to you and don't feel like it's personal. And then you're going to go over to the scanner. You're going to tell him that you got pins in your hips and then they're going to put you through a thing where you got to go like this. I literally walked her through every single aspect of it. And it was like, also like, okay, so when the plane takes off, first thing it's going to do is going to go down the runway. It's going to feel super fast. It's going to be pushed back on your seat. And then it's going to lift up. And then for about a minute to a minute and a half, you're going to hear this super loud buzzy noise. And you're going to wonder, is this what planes sound like? But I promise that noise is going to go away. Like that was the whole time. And I don't know if people around us thought or whatever, but she had a blast and she was great on the plane. And she said, you could do this for a living. And I was like, take old people on planes? Hell no. No.
Oh God, that sounds
This was
awful.
exhausting.
That sounds awful.
Exhausting. I mean, I don't have
I
any
cut
problem
you
with old
off
people.
though. You were
You didn't?
talking about your vacation. I did, because that's what we do on the show. We interrupt each other.
Oh. So when we were in this
The vacation.
resort in Mexico, it had these like stone floors. It was like this gigantic echoey room with stone floors. And a thing that I guess in the South they call palmetto bugs, but in Mexico they call them cockroaches. This thing came in.
Yeah.
It was like a
Yeah.
Mexican cockroach. That's what the guy
Yes.
told me. It was easily 6 inches long, and it was walking around the floor, and you could hear like a little.
Oh yeah.
And it sounded like a dog walking on the floor, a tiny dog.
They're awful. They're so terrifying. I had to order them one year when I needed props, animal props for a film, and we needed those cockroaches. We needed the big ones.
Fun fact, they can fucking fly.
Yes, they can. And I ordered them. They came in a cardboard box, and that's what you could hear.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's awful.
So I have an announcement to make about Delta, by the way. Not only don't they have Biscoff, now they have Biscoff with cream inside, like an Oreo made of 2 Biscoffs.
Wow.
Sorry, Briscoe's very excited hearing about this cockroach. He doesn't know.
And I missed it was up on the screen for a second. Where did it go? Chris, I think it was. Chris, where did it go? Somebody asked me if I was in Rehomo, which is Rehoboth Beach. And yes, I am. It's the gay beach here. It's like P-Town in Delaware.
Sorry, I've sent it right back to us. Somebody's emergency texting me a thing.
Your keyboard is very loud.
I know. I love it.
Oh man,
it makes me feel like I'm a busy working person. It makes me feel like I'm working an airplane counter, or like at the car rental counter when you go and God the fuck knows what they're typing, but they type for like,
yeah,
they're just like this the whole time. So, how long are you here? 4 days. Like that.
It just reminds me of ASMR.
That's all I hear when I hear you typing. Keyboard. I don't have the ASMR things, but I do love the ASMR sounds. I don't get the tingles.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the chat. Oh, yeah. Can we just talk about this really quickly? This is totally off subject, but Shaz says, Mel, I'm so excited. The Williams sisters are returning to Wimbledon. Not only are they returning to Wimbledon, and I predicted this about 6 months ago, maybe even a year ago, Serena Williams is returning to play singles, which
I know. Wild card. Incredible.
Okay, first of all, so you guys may not know this about me. I'm a tennis player. Maybe some of you do. Serena Williams is my idol. Just period.
She should be literally everybody's idol. And if she isn't your idol, it's just because you don't know anything about her. But if you did, she'd immediately be your idol.
I was devastated when she retired. I thought it was too early. I thought she needed a couple more years to get in shape after having 2 children. Or having a child at the time and then having another child. But I thought she was too young. I thought she was too young to retire when she did. And I was like, I kind of like have been reading the tea leaves, and I said to Lindsay that I should have put a bet on this.
Oh, because she played at doubles in the
No. Like I'm seriously, I predicted this like a year ago because I was looking at her socials. And I was watching her train on the court, and she kept saying she wasn't coming back. She wasn't coming back. She wasn't coming back. And I was like, and all of my tennis pros and everybody I know, they're like, no, there's no way. She's too old. She knows better. Blah 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 blah. And I was like, I should have done one of those bet sites where
champion's got a champion, man. Champion's got a champion. That's the nice thing about being a champion is that you got to be a champion.
Yeah, she is an amazing human being, and she's an amazing tennis player. And I never had like I think most people who learn to play tennis when they're younger have formal instruction. Like they have
not her and her sister, man. They had their dad.
Well, they did eventually.
Yes,
but
they did, of course.
I was the same. So I learned to play tennis by watching it. So I learned to play from watching Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi and Steffi Graf and all these like older players.
Love Pete and Andre.
I know. And then later on, when I picked it back up again, I did the same thing. I just started watching Serena, and I started trying to like emulate that style until I got formal, training. And I don't know, she just the way that she played and how strong she is, and it's mostly her mentality that I idolize. But anyway, enough
She
about
also, by
Serena.
the
I'm
way,
just very excited.
she seemed to have married like the only nice billionaire tech bro on the planet.
Yep,
Like,
Alexis.
I've been an old ass Reddit user. I've been on Reddit since like 2011. And I've always assumed, like, I mean, Reddit can be a cesspool, but like it is what it is. And like I mean, I don't know what he's actually like as a person. I never met him. Obviously, I'm not in his personal sphere, but his support for her is really, like, really wonderful. And you gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Yep. Yeah, he's a good guy. He also, like you said, he left Reddit when it got, I don't know if you said that, but he founded Reddit and then he left when it got I can't remember if it was racist, misogynist, something happened, but
Oh, it's everything. It's always been everything, but when it got to the point where it was no longer governable, he decided to leave, I think.
Yeah. So I'm really, 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 really excited about that. And then Lindsay got us tickets to the US Open. So I don't know if she's going to be playing. I really hope she is. I would imagine if she's playing Wimbledon, she's going to play the US. If she plays there and she's plays on the day that we got tickets, I am going to lose my mind. It's the only thing that, I mean, I have huge regrets in life. And one of them is that I never got to see her play live. And now we have tickets to the City Open and the US Open. And so I'm hoping she plays one of those tournaments. But we'll see. Or maybe both. And maybe I'll get to see her twice. Everybody who's saying that my hair looks great, I appreciate you. But I got some salt air in my hair and it's making me crazy because it's just so big. But anyway, thank you. Rebecca, we have lots to talk about today. We also have a really big day ahead of us. Do you want to get through some housekeeping real quick?
Yes. So tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 4 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Pacific. Okay.
Yep.
And whatever the fuck time it would be in Europe. We are doing our members only cross roast, but instead of talking about a video that Mel is going to make me watch, we are going to have a very insightful and different than you've heard conversation about the drama that's been going on in our little silo. I'm kind of like, I don't really call it a community like others do because we're not really a community. We're basically just a little pocket of the internet. In our little pocket of the internet, there has been some big drama, and I've given myself a lot of time to think about whether or not I wanted to talk about it. I've given myself a lot of time to think about how I would talk about it. I've been sending myself copious notes over the whole weekend. I have such strong feelings about it that I got to talk about it. I got to talk about it. I have really, as somebody who's been publishing since early 2000s, I have very fucking strong feelings about this. And I also have very strong feelings about the discourse around it. So I'm going to pour myself a little drink. So that part's not going to change, which is also why I sent myself notes to keep my thoughts clear. And we are going to be talking about the drama, the reptile versus mammal drama that's been going on in our little corner of the internet.
Yeah, I was super hesitant to get involved, and then I realized I had a lot of opinions about it, and my opinions are stemming from, I think, just like human psychology, as opposed, because I'm like, this is bullshitty reality television.
It is.
Shit.
It's just reality TV. That's what's happening.
As somebody who worked in reality television and as someone who has studied like the psychology of reality television, it makes me sick. And I don't want to be a part of that. And the psychology of it and how it affects the true crime sphere and how it affects men versus women and
the fandom
versus blue and the fandom and
what the fandom feels like they need to do, because that one thing I'll say, and a little tease, I actually have known other creators who have trained their fandom to be outraged at everything. It never works out well for those creators, but like,
so stupid.
When I see that, this is why I told you this over the weekend, but I'll tell listeners, this is why I've been so resistant to like the audience naming thing. It's why I don't like it. I feel like it's part of the conditioning and training of an audience to feel a certain way when the creator reacts a certain way. And I don't like that conditioning. I've never liked it. And I think it's cute when people like, we have fans of crime writers who call themselves Crime Writers Nation. I think that's very cute and like, good for you. Like, that's awesome. It's awesome that we have that kind of support, but like, I'm not reinforcing it. I'm not whatever. And it just gives me the ick because I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen with Patrick Hines, who called his audience fam. I've seen it happen. Joey and Ellen have an audience to some extent they're sort of conditioned to feel a certain way about things. I don't even think it's Joey and Ellen's fault. I think it's self-reinforcing, but like the outrage is just like people.
Yeah.
Anyway, we will discuss tonight. Become a member and you will be able to get into that stream. We'll start it public for a few minutes to remind folks that it's happening. And then we'll hit the griff button, as folks like to say on the Twitter. And we will go.
There are a few people asking us for sort of a Cliff Notes version, but I think we're probably going to save that for tonight. Yeah, we'll do a Cliff Notes for the people who don't know what we're talking about. And then you mentioned, that you can opt out if you want. You don't have to sit through it.
If you're tired of it, if you don't want to hear us talk about it, if you think it shouldn't be being talked about, if you perceive anything as a quote pile-on, literally any discourse about it as a pile-on, you can just opt out of it. You are, even if you're a member, you're not required to come to our members only streams. But if you become a member like Sunny Days did, and like Teresa did, thank you guys very much. And like Sherry did, thank you very, very much. And Trishan did, thank you very much. You can join us. And let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. We've got NW Media 10102. Thank you. We've got Nicole. Thank you. And we've got Desperate Housewife. And I have one thing to say to all of you.
You're hot.
Yeah. You're hot. All you're hot. You're hot. There's one other thing we won't be doing on this show. We should just mention. We will not be playing. I saw how much. Do you want to just build this? Want to answer this question before we answer this other one?
Yeah. So we have 2 membership tiers, Cinnamon, and the lower level is $2.99, and that's all you need to get into the Crossroads, which is what we do every Monday night, which is what we'll be doing tonight. If you wanted to go, I think it's $5.99. Don't quote me on that, but there are two levels. The second one is the "Are you fucking kidding me" level, and that one is for our ad-free members only content, as well as our once a month culture.
Sorry, that was an accident.
That's okay. I mean, sure. Was it an accident, Rebecca?
I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes I'm just a terrorist with that button. But one thing we won't be doing on this stream, we'll be discussing it briefly, but we're not going to be posting, we're not going to be playing the audio of the event that took place on Juneteenth that Kate Peter threw for the McAlberts for the fundraiser, primarily because, as far as I can tell from seeing some tape from Loophole Lawyer, et cetera, those conversations in that tape was potentially illegally recorded. I feel very strongly that if you are going to be outraged about one kind of legal recording, you should be outraged about all kinds of legal recordings. I want no part of playing them on my show, unless they are truly in the public interest. I think that, there are moments where there have been investigative journalists who have gone in to say factories where the conditions have been really horrible and like children have been working. And the only way to find out that information is to sneak in a camera. That is very, very different than taping something for the sake of entertainment for the masses. And as much as I feel like these folks don't necessarily deserve the same grace as the rest of the world, I don't want to be a part of disseminating a potentially illegal recording. So we will not be playing that. Although I will say, Chris Albert could use some allocution lessons. That's all I got to say about it.
They all could. I mean, I definitely listened to it. I definitely watched it, and I'm really annoyed. I think I've finally figured out what it is about Loophole. So
which one thing?
Well, for me, it's the creation. Like, how he uses AI to create his images and some of his videos. He also makes up stories. So basically what he's saying about this audio is, and I listened to it from Turtle Boy's perspective as well. So Aiden said that Loophole was texting him that he got a woman to go in there and be the mole. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what he was texting. He was showing Aiden the text exchanges.
There was a woman who went in and she was on Loophole's show talking about how she went in. And it was a very uncomfortable interview because she clearly like is in this weird place where she went in. She didn't think there was any harm in taping it, but she also like had a good time. And he's just really awful to her. And I'm like, what is the whole thing? It's just fucked up. I mean, let them have their little murder fundraiser. Let them have it. They have sponsors.
No, but let me finish what I was. Let me finish what I was saying, though.
Yeah.
What I was saying is I don't like the fact that he. What it seems to me is that he used this woman, and I don't know if she fully understands the legality, the illegality of what she did, and how much trouble she can be in.
Mhm.
Based on like I'm knowing that it's a two-party consent state in Massachusetts. And then also having covered Veronica's case, Veronica's been fighting a felony wiretap because she recorded her being assaulted. She was being assaulted and she recorded it. And instead of the local cops going down the road of investigating the actual assault, they charged her with felony wiretap, and she's been fighting this for almost 3 years now. So this woman, if she didn't know what she was doing, if she didn't know what she was getting into, and she got paid to do it, or he convinced her to do it, it's really fucking shady. And I'm sick of people creating a reality show, because that's what he's doing. It's similar to, if, for instance, at public events, someone has, faked a shooting or has faked anything just for publicity and to get people on your side. I don't agree with it. I really hate what he's doing, and I think it's really disingenuous. And I feel like it shouldn't be legal, but he falls under the umbrella of satire. I will say another thing.
She doesn't.
No, I know that. I'm talking about loophole.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to say is that Turtle Boy brought up a really good point, and someone in his audience brought up a really good point. Every single show that Loophole creates, he says Brian Higgins, the actual killer of John O'Keefe. So why are they not suing him for defamation as well?
Good
Why
question.
is it only Turtle Boy? Why is it only Karen Reed? This guy makes a point to say Brian Higgins is the guy who killed John O'Keefe. Every show. So there's a lot there. He does a lot of satire, and he creates things that are not true, including when you and I were talking through text, and I said, I think he's one of the official sponsors.
He's not. That was fake.
And then I started realizing he just AI'd.
Yeah, he does that.
They have like a board when you walked into this fundraiser that listed out their sponsors and their screen names, and he put his name on it, and it looked real to me. He is an attorney, as far as I understand.
He is. No, I saw his law firm. No, I completely agree with everything that you're saying. It gave me the ick from the moment I knew it existed. The only thing that was fun about any of the imagery or whatever from that. Well, first of all, Jesus Christ, but also the sign that showed the the forensic room was one of the key sponsors. Mel, this would be like you having a fundraiser and me being your sponsor. Instead of just
I know.
But if also it's the same as when you look at their fundraiser on Give, Send, Go, it's like all the same people. It's like Julie Carpenter giving money, and like it's like, dude, just give them the money. You're just being performative for the internet. Like it's just this was all a performance for the internet. That's all that it was. The sad tree also was for the imagery was funny, but like if Kate Peter had released those photos, it would be very fair game to like show them, laugh about them, put the video on the thing if she had taped it, but like, or the audio, but like, that's not who it came from. And so as far as I'm concerned, it's not okay to share. So.
Yeah. And I know everyone in the audience is like, yes, I understand that Vince wants to get sued by Higgins. That's not my point. I don't give a shit what he's doing. My point is that he is defaming Higgins, or at least Higgins could sue him for defamation. And they're choosing not to sue him, which should tell you everything you need to know about these fake ass lawsuits against Turtle Boy and Karen Reed. That's my point. Because I think Vince has a bigger audience than Turtle Boy, doesn't he?
Let's take a look, shall we?
Yeah,
I
if you
will.
can look,
I can research that right now. I know you're only on your little screen, right?
yeah, and it's so echoey in here. I'm waiting for Lindsay.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about
No,
it.
I'm waiting for Lindsay. I might actually switch up my location, so I might
Okay.
go off for a second while I'm just waiting to
Okay.
hear back from Lindsay if she's done.
Okay.
Because
He
we're
has
both like, we're trying to
180,000 subscribers. He is bigger than Turtle Boy. Turtle Boy's
he's
about
bigger than
100
Turtle
over.
Boy. So the idea that they're not suing him, but they're
Mhm.
suing Turtle Boy, who is a smaller creator,
Mhm.
I think should tell us everything we know.
Yeah.
We need to know. So I know you guys can hear me fine, but this echo is going to sound awful
It
on
slaps
the
back in your
recording.
headphones too when you have an echo.
Yeah.
So it's like it's more difficult to record when you're hearing your own echo. Just FYI. I know
Yeah.
that it sounds. I know to you guys it sounds like every other YouTube channel you watch, but like it's annoying when you're used to being in a studio to hear the echo.
Yeah.
It took me a while to even get used to sitting in my living room because I'm like, I hear the coffee being made. I hear the whatever, but like
Yeah.
you get used to it. So that's one thing we won't be showing and we won't be dissecting. And that's the reason why. There's a couple of things we haven't discussed yet that we can discuss briefly later, including the motion opposing the motion to amend the motion, opposing the motion in the
To
Karen Reed
compel
federal
the
case.
emotion to,
It's so
yeah,
funny. I read it. I
quash
finally
the,
gave it a quick read.
quash the.
Actually, I finally gave it like a real read when I was in the plane.
Mhm.
And the gist of that is, and this is the only thing you need to know about it. Karen Reed attached did a motion to amend that included a link to Carrie Roberts or an attachment of Carrie Roberts I'm sorry, Nicole and Brian Albert's grand
So
jury
many of
testimony.
them.
Okay.
Yes.
Nicole and
Yeah.
Brian Albert's federal grand jury testimony was in the thing. They have that because they have the whole case file. They have the regular grand jury testimony. They have the federal grand jury testimony. Thank you so much, C. Morales, for becoming a member. They have it because the feds gave the defense and the DA's office everything. And so as a result, Karen Reed has everything. You know who doesn't have it is the Alberts.
Yeah.
They want that information. They want to see that grand jury testimony so badly. So essentially, they complained that she, attached something that wasn't available to them. So
Mhm.
then she changed it and attached something else instead that basically said the same thing. It was likely, I haven't read all the attachments, but it's likely somebody cross examining them about their prior testimony in trial. So that is public, right?
Right.
So they're like, you can't just change your attachment in the middle of a thing when the first attachment was what you said. So this whole thing, they should not be allowed to amend it. They just want the grand jury testimony. That's all they want.
Yep.
You would think that this is a good question. Don't they know what they said? You would think if they told the truth and a consistent story every time, this would not be an issue.
Yeah.
But if you said one thing in 2023, a different thing to the police in multiple interviews, a different thing to in your testimony in trial one, it's real and other depositions you may or may not have done. It is real difficult to keep track of what you said way back in the day.
Yep.
When the feds came a calling and went to your dorm room and your houses and knocked and called you into a federal grand jury and you're panicking, they know their stories are inconsistent. So yes, normally, like I would know what I would have said if it were me and I was in this whole thing because I wouldn't have lied.
Yeah.
But you do. You have to have a good memory to lie. Yes, that's absolutely true.
I was just thinking too about the video from the fundraiser. I kind of want to know your thoughts. So it was illegally recorded.
The audio. There was no video.
The
It was
audio.
him. He created some AI imagery to lay over the audio. It was not.
Right.
Yeah.
It was illegally recorded audio. I listened to it. Did you listen to it?
Yeah. Well, I heard it. I heard Melanie Little cover it.
Okay. So I listened to it. You listened to it. Do you think that it's worth discussing some of the things that happened in it, though, or no?
It's nothing
I
that you
mean,
wouldn't expect. I mean, honestly, it's just nothing you wouldn't expect. It's them
there were some
talking about.
things that shocked me.
Or what
Brian
shocked you?
Higgins being there, and Brian Higgins getting up and talking about the text messages between him and Karen.
She got my phone number from a third party. The fuck?
I want to be clear about that. I want to make sure everybody understands. She got my number from a third party. Does everyone remember that? Like, I think I'm kind of blown away that that's what he's most upset about.
Yeah. Well, he just wants to make it clear. He didn't make a play for Karen. Karen made a play for him. And
And
I
he
just
went
did
along with it.
what any red-blooded man would do, wouldn't you? I mean, she's got a little like great
I
ass,
think I
right?
I think I was pretty upset about the fact that they were joking about the Ford Edge and joking about I don't know who it was that was speaking, but they made a joke that I think it was directed at Alan Jackson that a lawyer is asking them questions about play fighting when he's never had a good punch to the face in his
Proper
life.
punch in the face. Yeah. I believe that was John's friend who's on all the channel, who always does those interviews. You know that dude? The friend.
Oh, the
Yeah.
redhead guy, the ginger.
Yeah.
You're hot.
That guy.
Yeah. The idea that they were joking about the Ford Edge and the
Mhm.
idea that they were joking about Alan Jackson. And first of all, Alan Jackson, who was in the military, guarantee you he's had a punch. You know what I mean?
Well, even if he hasn't, it's still a really violent and fucking weird thing to say.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's so like weird alpha male bullshit,
but
you
it's
know?
so them. It's so
Mhm.
them, right? It's so
Yeah.
on brand. And Chris lying and saying he had no idea who Turtle Boy was, when there are literally Turtle Boy texted this a million years ago. John and Julie Albert, John O'Keefe and Julie Albert were talking about a Turtle Boy article in 2021. And Julie Albert was like, "It's my worst fear to be on that Turtle Boy blog. It's my worst fear."
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
you fucking know who he is, which is why when he wrote that article about you after the FBI visited you, so you already knew you were in some shit. Like, you knew it was going to be bad. And some of them even
Mhm.
contacted him to try to get him to keep him from writing the article. I think Chris himself actually contacted him after the first article came out to ask him not to write about it anymore. He still
Yeah.
has, these are all receipts, things that I've seen that he's publicized that have been on Twitter. I'm not making this shit up.
Right.
These people are openly lying. Like, now they're lying to their
Yeah.
own supporters, but they don't even need to be lying to their supporters, because all those supporters, like, they don't care. So
Right.
it's like the idea that they would get up there and then make up a whole like narrative of poor Colin. Poor
Yeah.
Colin. This is the worst thing nothing like this has ever happened. Nothing like this bad has ever happened in the world, but poor Colin.
Yeah, and I just want to address David. This is this is a scary take, my friend. David said, "Why would the lady get charged for wiretapping?" Question mark. You can record anyone, anytime in a public place. That is absolutely not true. There are many states in this country that are two-party consent states, which means you need to have the other person's permission if you're going
Or
to
you have to
record
inform
them.
them. They have to be signed saying
Inform-
you're being recorded. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. So, like, if you're on the phone with somebody in Massachusetts and you decide you want to record it, you have to be like, "Hey, by the way, I'm recording." And if they like hang up on you, that's what they do. But the fact that somebody came into this location, whether it's public or not, doesn't matter.
It's
But
arguably not private event.
no, what?
Private event. Calling it a public place
Private
is also very gray. Like, it's private event.
private, it doesn't matter if it's private or public. You're not allowed to record someone without them knowing that you're recording them in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And there are many states in this country that are two-party consent states. And so you need to know those laws before you record someone.
Well,
And
you
that
can film in a public place. You can go on a street if you're a news crew
Mhm,
and you can film, you
mhm.
can pan, you can film, you can
Yeah,
do whatever.
yeah,
There's all sorts of things, ethical things about getting releases for kids and so forth, all that stuff. If you are walking down the street, you do not have a reasonable assumption of privacy. That is, like, there's been many
mhm,
Supreme Court rulings around this.
yeah,
If you're walking down the street, you don't have a reasonable assumption of privacy. The places where you have a reasonable assumption of privacy, a private transaction, sitting down inside a bank, the DMV, all these places, you'll see signs saying
yep,
you are being recorded. Those are
right,
because it's a two-party consent state. It's very different than walking down the street and being caught by a camera with a news crew sort of doing a big pan. That's not the same situation. But she
right,
also has private conversations on this tape. She has a conversation with Matt McCabe on this tape. She has a conversation with Brian Higgins on this tape. They have a reasonable expectation of privacy when they're having a one-on-one conversation with somebody at a private event. And I'm not defending these people for what they did to John O'Keefe. I'm just telling you what the statute is in Massachusetts, which I've looked up because I've had employees in Massachusetts who do stories in Massachusetts, and this is a huge part of our journalistic ethics, but also the law.
Okay, so the dudes in the chat are they want to argue about this. But the thing is, Timothy, federal law trumps state law in certain situations. But go ahead and ask Veronica Rodriguez what it feels like to be charged and convicted of a felony wiretap when you record your own attack in a car where your attacker is allowed to have privacy, apparently. In the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, she was sentenced to 30 days in jail, and she's now a felon because she recorded her own attacker. So you can say what you think is your opinion all you want. But if you do not understand the laws in the place where you live, I would not suggest going and recording somebody without their permission or without letting them know that you are recording them.
And Massachusetts actually has one of the strictest two-party consent state laws. So the exceptions to the common applications of the Massachusetts statute are: the courts have affirmed a First Amendment right to openly record police officers and public officials performing their official duties in public spaces. Yep. So somebody pulls you over, a cop pulls you over, you can film them. If you walk up to a cop on the street doing duty, you can film them. Business calls, customer service calls, they are allowed to record those, but you must provide notification. In Massachusetts, website tracking is not considered illegal. It's not really legal anywhere. Illegally obtained recordings are typically suppressed as evidence in criminal trials. Some of those recordings have been allowed in civil trials. Individuals recorded in violation of a statute can file a civil suit against the recording party, and they're violating the statute is a felony. Convictions carry penalties of up to 5 years in state prison, a jail cell of 2.5 years, and or fines of $10,000. So I once had a coworker who had a question about being able to record a DMV worker, and their argument was that's a public official performing a public duty in a public space. And I called our lawyer, and our lawyer said, that is fucking illegal. Tell them they cannot do that. So, you just can't walk around citing blanket Supreme Court cases and interpreting them the way you would like, especially when there are bad actors involved who have a vested interest in not having people record them at their fundraisers. So,
right. Yes, I assume Mother Marcia, they do know who taped them because, like Rebecca said, that person went on to Loophole Lawyers channel and did an interview of some sort. And Loophole is taking credit for sending that person in there. I don't know if that's true or not, or if he's just, exaggerating for drama. Kathy says Chris Albert is recording people in and outside of his pizzerias. Why hasn't he been charged with wiretapping? His cameras have sound. More than likely because, like what Rebecca said, he has a notice somewhere in the pizzeria.
We don't know if he does or not. We don't know if he does.
We don't know. But if he does, then he's protected. He's telling you you're on camera. If he doesn't, which I think is a question that Turtle Boy might be asking, and it's a good question to ask. If Chris has not advertised that he is recording people, then Turtle Boy has a great argument.
But sometimes visible cameras are also seen as notification. This is why every Ring camera owner doesn't need to put a sign on their house, because visible cameras, security cameras are, when you walk up to someone's door, you shouldn't necessarily have a presumption of privacy because security cameras exist in the world, and if the cameras are visible. So if the camera is visible, that's an argument that could be made there. So.
Yeah. And then K-Gal said, isn't it the audio that is the issue mostly? Yes, the audio is the issue. And there is no video from the event that we're talking about. Loophole. I don't know how he gets away with it, but he creates AI video and makes it look like it's the real thing that happened. And it's not. The audio, though, as far as we understand it, is real. And like Rebecca said, we're not going to play it on this channel. We are talking about it because we've both seen it. But this sort of goes back to, there are so many questions. I think tonight, one of the things that I wanted to talk about, which we'll get into when we come back at 5 o'clock, we're going to be talking about the public, debates, basically disagreements between Aidan Carney and a couple of people in the community, including Jess Machado and Will LeGlaire. I wanted to also discuss, Nurse Kim's take on this, because she brought up a story about, the Karen Reed recording and certain people getting in touch and sort of outing her as being one of the people that heard it. And one of the debates that I have, one of the questions I have is, what is our moral obligation when someone is illegally wiretapped. Like, what is we're doing it right now. You and I have both heard the tape.
That's why I don't really want
to. That's my point. My
Yeah.
point is that we're not going to play that audio, but
Right.
we've both heard it, and there is subject matter in there that is relevant to what we talk about on a daily basis. So how do we handle this?
It's arguably newsworthy.
Yeah. It's tough. It's a tough call, but I think we've probably exhausted. I mean, I didn't think nothing on there blew my mind except for the fact that Brian Higgins showed his ass up at that stupid event and got up there and talked about the text messages between him and Karen, which is just bullshit. What a fucking asshole he is. And also that they were joking and laughing about the Ford Edge and all the other shit. And when this is supposed to be like, I'm like, was Peggy there? Was she okay with them joking about the investigation or the
She couldn't have been. This was a fundraiser for the litigants in the civil case.
She was at the last fundraiser.
I know.
That's the one in the group photo where she's flipping everybody off sitting next to Elizabeth Proctor.
That's the way I interpreted it.
Yeah, exactly, Hickey. All right. Okay, we can move on from that.
You cranky. Did you stop smoking all over again this morning?
I'm not cranky. I feel like I'm a really bad broadcaster right now.
You're fine.
I'm in this really shitty, echoey place, and I just feel bad about it.
You're hot, Mel.
Thank you.
You're hot. You're hot.
I'm not cranky.
I don't know. You just might type.
Okay. So one of the things that do you want to move into? Let me look at the notes. Actually, I can't look at the notes. Can you look at the notes?
Sure. You wanted to make me listen to the audio from the hearing that I didn't hear the other day. The problem is do you have that link? Because
I do. I have it up actually.
Wonderful. Because I did not hear the initial audio where Rosenberg got spoken to by the judge, and you asked me not to hear it. You wanted me to hear it together.
Okay. Can we, one thing before we go there though?
Sure.
Should we do our dumb tweet of the day, week, whatever?
Yeah, but I got to get it. I sent it to our links. I didn't, I have a couple. Oh, this one's tough, but in honor of a listener who, I have so many. Higgy went because he was looking for that. What does that mean?
Are you looking for the real? It's from the text messages. He was looking for the real deal.
The real deal. Oh my God.
I'm looking for the real deal, Karen.
You're the real deal. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I'm doing a turtle boy thing now.
I know you guys can't tell the difference between my audio, but it is it's awful to me. And so I'm trying to be smaller. Does that make sense? I'm trying to be quieter and smaller because it is so horrible in here.
I can also hear birds, which is fine. But also you're usually don't do that, which is the only reason that it's easy to interpret you as cranky, because you never try to be small. You're a big personality with a big heart, and you're not afraid to show it.
Completely constricted, and I don't like it. So, can we talk about one more thing about?
We can talk about whatever you want, girl.
Okay. Can we talk about the BOMB threat? Please don't say that word in the chat, by the way. Do not say BOMB.
Sure. What do you want to say about it?
I mean, okay. I don't want to pause it. I don't want to question whether it was real or not, because I did hear it on the audio that they were like, the Canton police are here. So I know it's real. And I just am like, why are we doing this, you guys? Can we stop? This is it's a fear tactic. It's terrorism. It's terrorism. That's the way I see it. The people who called in
it literally is
the SWATTING on Broken Baker that's terrorism, y'all. What are we doing? You cannot fuck with people's lives like this. This is not okay. This is one of the things. This is a way to hinder people living, to keep people from going about their daily lives when all they're doing is speaking their mind on the internet. This is what you and I do on a daily basis. And there are days when I'm like, oh, if I say this, is someone going to try to dox me or my family? And M dash crazy going to come after me
Mm.
and try to dox me like she does everybody else? Or is someone going to call in a BOMB threat? Is someone going to call in a SWAT threat? Like, what are we doing here? This is insane to me. Whoever made that call, whoever called that in to that event can go fuck themselves. And I want nothing to do with those people in this community. And they need to get the fuck out if that's the way they're going to act.
Mhm.
Because we need to be more upstanding than that, y'all.
Yep. You have no right to be, oh my God, Mel, I have so many dumb tweets. I don't know. This is really hard.
Go through a few of them. Or you can save one for Thursday.
No,
Or
it's
however you
okay.
want to do it.
There are so many, like saving one for Thursday, even. Like I have to save 20 for Thursday. Okay, so here's one. This is Julie Carpenter, otherwise known as Big Red, the person with the best nickname on the internet. I either want to be Little Red or something else. I do not want to be Big Brown. Who's the guy who was called you Big Brown?
I called you Big Brown, and then
that's true.
Or somebody in the chat called you Big Brown, and then everybody calls you Big Brown.
I know Kyle Sharkey calls me Sparky, but Big Red, man, I'm just so jealous. So jealous.
We can call you Little Red. Let's make that a thing. Let's call Rebecca Little Red. Lil Red, like Lil Debbie.
So Julie Carpenter, this is the new talking point. After endlessly defending Michael Proctor, who was overly scrutinized, being persecuted for his private conversations, having his privacy invaded, ruining his family and his life because of a conspiracy theory. Now suddenly it's Jen McCabe did not know Michael Proctor. Matt McCabe did not know Michael Proctor. Brian Albert did not know Michael Proctor. Nicole Albert did not know Michael Proctor. Colin Albert did not know Michael Proctor. Fucking lie. Provable with photos. The connection
between all a lie.
The connection between Colin's mother was to Michael's sister, not to Michael Proctor. So dumb. So dumb. So there's one. God. Any thoughts? I
don't have any thoughts anytime Julie Carpenter types with her fingers or opens her mouth.
That's true. Here's another one. You ready?
So no. Mm-hmm.
This is drama adjacent, but I have feelings about it and I just want to share them here.
Okay. Do it.
This is about Jess Machado. Jess says, this is one of her followers on another platform. Jess says it's not the subs, it's the views that matter. Put her streams on repeat, whether you listen or not, get her views up. Do not do that. If there's a creator that you support, this is called view farming or download farming. This is a practice that YouTube actively polices for. Granted, a few of Jess's subs doing it will probably not trigger that part of the algorithm, but it's a bad practice to try to inflate people's monetization artificially. Even if you don't do it with us, don't do it with Turtle Boy, don't do it with anybody. It is not the same as playing your white noise YouTube playlist all night long and falling asleep to it. That is not the same thing because you are not doing that to artificially inflate monetization. You are doing it to sleep. And I think white noise is something that YouTube understands how people use. So that's another one. So many.
I know. Okay. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm going to switch locations. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Can we take like a 10-minute break? Can you stay on and I'll be right back?
Sure. I'm going to read some comments and interact with the people.
I appreciate that. Sorry,
guys. Are there any other creators in the chat?
It's making me feel so uncomfortable. I don't feel like myself and I don't feel like I'm contributing.
No worries.
So I want to like feel more comfortable. So I'm going to do that. Okay. Bye.
No worries. If there are any other creators in the chat and you want to jump on, let me know. Or send me an email at reblavoy@gmail.com. What if I use my white? It's fine. I listen to my brown noise all night long. If your white noise doesn't have ads, play it all night long. If it does have ads, don't worry. I guarantee you, YouTube understands how it is people are using those white noise videos. Who are you, Mel? Somebody said. Maybe this isn't the place for you if you don't know. Can you talk for 10 minutes? Literally made for this. I was. In fact, there's a famous story where my mom, when I was a child, and when I wasn't doing good in school, or I wasn't doing good schoolwork, or I wasn't doing the stuff I was supposed to be doing, and she'd be like, well, this is the only thing you're supposed to be doing. And I'd be like, well, I love to talk. And she would say, well, you can't make a living just talking. I love you so much, Mom. That's why I took you to Chicago this weekend. This is great. The way Mel paused just then and was touching her ear, I thought she was going to tell us the second plane had hit the towers. That is very, very, very good joke. And I think the statute of limitations is up. We can have levity about that day. Does anybody remember what was playing on the Today Show just before the first plane hit the towers? I do, because I was watching it live. It was Matt Lauer doing an interview with billionaire Warren Buffett. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't Warren Buffett. It was another rich guy. So I just said I remembered exactly, then I didn't. I feel like Rebecca is the voice of reason through this. That has been my reputation doing this for a long time. My other podcast is about other podcasts and media. And we actually talk about the journalism and we talk about the ethics and so forth. And also in my day job in journalism, I think these are rules I'm familiar with and know about. And there are things that like, sometimes I participate in gleefully on this stream that I'm just like, this isn't what I would typically do, but to be real, like the humor value of it, or like the public interest of it, or the content value of it, or I just want to hear Mel react to it, is kind of worth it to me to sort of step into that area. Playing an illegally taped recording is not that for me. Let's see what else we got here. I was a month out from having my first daughter. She was terrified. I was 5 weeks out from having my first son. My son was born on August 2nd, 2001. 2001. So we did not eat any Chicago pizza because my mom is both lactose intolerant and allergic to tomatoes. My Italian mom, greatest cook I know, allergic to tomatoes and severely lactose intolerant. How was Chicago? Chicago was great. I have some photos on my Twitter. If you want to check them out, I can show you right now if you're not on the Twitter. My mom had never flown, or she hadn't flown since the 80s, which I know I talked about on the show, so it's not that interesting. But she did so great, and I was so proud of her. And yes, I do have her permission to share her photos, so don't at me for that. Just going to look at my profile. Here we go. I'll share this with you. Okay. This is my mom on the plane on the way home. She looks fine, right? She only looks a little bit high. She did take Dramamine, which does in fact make you a little bit high. Let's see. This is her. My mom, I tweeted about this, and I'm sure some of you saw it. We went to the Chicago Art Institute of Fine Art Institute of Chicago, and she is the person who will turn a corner and see the world's most famous painting and then take a picture, not of the painting, but of the sign next to the painting. No gallery is safe from my mom. I have a picture of her taking a picture of the sign next to Sunday in the Park, a picture on the sign next to the Van Gogh self-portrait, a picture of the sign next to American Gothic. She just can't not do it. She can't not do it. It's my mom. She's adorable. This is my mom and I. My mom, she's not a particularly political person, but she was very interested in the fact that the Obama Center was opening this weekend. Of course, it was a momentous week in Chicago for that reason. We went to the Roby House, which is the historic, this is riveting content, I know, the historic Frank Lloyd Wright House at the University of Chicago. The Obama Center is right there. We walked over, and I will say, politics aside, which is an impossible fucking thing to say in 2026, we had no fewer than a dozen little kids run up to us who were carrying these coloring sheets that they had gotten at the library. And it turns out they had just been read to by the former president of the United States and the former first lady of the United States. And they were so freaking excited. And that was incredibly sweet to see. Here's us on the Chicago Architecture Tour, which of course we did. I would highly recommend the Architecture Society boat tour of Chicago architecture. As you can see, there's the Clock Tower building. There's Trump Tower, significant buildings. Bless you. Did you just sneeze?
No.
Just checking. And one thing I want to share about my mom that I told my family and I told her, but I'm going to say it now publicly. I learned about her this weekend. My mom has game. She had fewer than 6 in-depth conversations with dapper old men. It happened, and they would say something to her, and then she would engage them in conversation. It would go on forever. And then it's what happened at the symphony. We went to the Chicago Symphony, super dapper guy next to us. By By the time we left, we knew where he was from. We knew where his kids lived. We knew everything.
Wow.
He knew a lot about her, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, Steve, man, you need to look out because my mom has game. Game.
Hey, law
It's a
girls.
fun thing to learn about
Thanks.
your mom when she's 83 years old.
Oh, you guys might have heard Ruby. She might have sneezed.
Oh,
She's right
okay.
here sitting in the sun. This is so much better. I feel like myself again. Thank you
Yeah,
guys.
you look
for
like yourself.
dealing
You don't
with
look
me.
as red. You don't look as agitated. All right, can we get back to my dumb tweets?
Yes,
Here's
do
one.
it.
Here's my tweet. Happy Father's Day to everyone, especially the fathers on Karen Reed's legal team, including her dad.
Wait,
And
for
then
some reason I can't see it.
Oh, did I not share it?
It's like,
oh no. This is me.
Weird.
You can't see it?
It's like, I don't know for the chat, but for me, it's like faded. Like you can't actually see it.
Oh.
So strange.
Oh. Well.
What does it say?
It says, I wrote, Happy Father's Day to everyone, especially the fathers on Karen Reed's legal team, including her dad. And then Brainwash Cult says, I'd say fuck all the father *S in that picture.
Wow.
Me. Your apostrophe game is solid. Let's see what else we got for dumb tweets.
People
There
are dumb
so
on
many.
the internet sometimes.
There are so many. Let's see. My favorite. I will find my favorite. My favorite.
Did you do the one that you and Ben were talking about?
That's the one I'm
Burnett?
looking for.
Oh, that's my favorite one.
Oh, somebody who said after I said the thing about the of the content farming, the view farming, do not report channels. They're like, oh, this should be reported. Do not report channels. That is garbage behavior. Reporting channels is garbage behavior. Unless somebody is actively a Nazi on the internet, don't report that channel.
Also, Shirley, if you have YouTube Premium, you shouldn't be seeing any ads ever. So that's a YouTube thing, not a creative thing.
And we only have our ads set to intermediate. So they're actually not nearly as frequent as other people's ads. Okay. So this is, I'll put it up in a second. I just want to see. Okay. All right. So this is
788 unread emails, mean? What does
oh
that
my
mean?
God. Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea. My email, if I look at my phone.
Oh, I don't even want to look at my phone.
I have like 10,000.
I have, ready? 17,918 unread emails.
Yep, that's my Gmail. My Gmail is like that. Although I have a thing set up that empties out those folders you never look at every so often. Okay, so this is in relation to the drama. So I won't tell you what precipitated it because it doesn't matter. It's in relation to the Machado sphere drama. Some lady wrote to me. I'm going to read this out loud. OMG lady, what's your excuse? How come you don't find an issue with the guy who has the dirtiest is a rat to the government who's framing him? What don't you get? You'd probably get more views if you stopped saying dumb shit. I'm just like, I don't understand the constructions or words of this response. I'm happy to engage, but please take a breath, rethink, and send again so it makes sense. I never get it back.
I'm starting to think that maybe Shirley is just a troll or a bot, just by the way. Because everyone else is saying what I'm saying. If you have YouTube Premium, you don't have ads. I have YouTube Premium.
Me too.
And I don't get ads.
Oh, my girl.
I don't understand.
I love you so much, Shauna. Love you. That would be me if I didn't have that thing set up on my email. That would be that thing.
Shauna has 101,501 unread emails. So you absolutely win. That is so crazy. I don't know how you deal with that.
Melissa can't I can't live with unread emails. I have to read or delete them. That is a personality type. It's not one that I have.
I used to be like that. Melissa. And then my email started getting really out of control and I lost it. I couldn't keep up with it. It was just too much. So
by the way, there is a so somebody is commenting here that the two-party consent law needs to go. I would argue otherwise. I promise you, if it were being used in some way that you didn't agree with, you'd be very happy with the law. And that's the whole thing. You can't.
I'm torn on it.
But you can't have it be one way and then the other. You can't say, for instance, that a private conversation between spouses about something really sensitive that somebody picks up on a microphone should be published on the internet. You can't say that and then also say this law shouldn't exist. Like you can't. Just be a good person. I mean, the law is just designed to make.
But at the same time, as a journalist, I think it's important to like if if you're in a two-party consent state and you're in a room with somebody who is talking to you and is saying to you, I don't want to be on record about this, but these are the bad things I've done. I really struggle with that. I struggle
Well, if
with
they
that.
say I don't want to be on record, you shouldn't be recording it or publishing it. That's the ethics of journalism right there.
I understand that. I
know you
understand the
do.
ethics
I
of
know you do.
journalism. My problem is if I'm sitting in a room with somebody or I'm on the phone with somebody and they've said, I don't want you to record this, but here are the bad things I've done. It's a problem for me. Like I don't like that. I think there's a problem there. I think that there's some gray area that we need to really work the details out. I don't believe that like you're saying, I completely agree with you. Private conversations between spouses, between parents and children, between in those kind of situations, like you shouldn't be recording the people that you love or the people that you used to love. And you shouldn't be putting that out on the internet. It's synonymous to revenge porn, as far as I'm concerned.
I have a counterpoint to what you said, Mel, and you're not going to like it.
I'm sure I won't.
If somebody says, I don't want you to be recording me, or this is off the record, I did a bad thing, it is your job as a journalist to then find other proof that they did the bad thing. It's true, but you can't report it, but you can get corroboration. That's the whole point of corroboration. Because even if they tell you can record it, you shouldn't report it without corroborating it.
Thing.
What did you just do?
I just did.
Oh, what thing?
I said,
you're frozen.
Listen, Rebecca.
Oh, by the way,
how can I be frozen?
The tree behind
Am I frozen
you is
still?
so much. You were just a second ago, but you're fine now. The tree behind you is so much nicer than the tree at the event. Just want to say.
Yeah, that poor little Charlie Brown tree. First of all, this Airbnb is stunning, but it is completely down to the floorboards, cheap ass IKEA. I love it. I think it's beautiful. Okay, so if anybody was ever wondering what my aesthetic style is, like aesthetic, not style, that's a redundant. My aesthetic was for a house, it's this with a little bit more farmhouse mixed with the Norwegian like hygge thing. Uh-huh. But like, look what they did with this. Look at this headboard. It's not a headboard, but look what they did with the wall.
They put some naughty pine paneling there. Yeah.
It's tongue and groove.
Yeah.
They just like stuck it up on the wall. It's really smart. But like the desk I'm sitting at is IKEA. Down to the little for those of you who are familiar with IKEA, the little, it looks like a mock, like a fake bear rug that's about this big.
Yes.
And it's white. There's one sitting in the chair right here. Mm-hmm. The bed frame is IKEA. The dresser is IKEA. The desk is IKEA.
Well, if you own a rental property, I can see
that's what I'm saying.
The upside of that.
Look at how
it's not what you would put in your house. It looks really good on camera.
They have 2 fake Eames chairs in the living room. Like, it's amazing. I love it. I absolutely love it. But it's all IKEA.
So. Someone wants to know about your tattoo. Which
one? I have 4 of them.
Oh, your arm tattoo, they said.
I'm only going to tell you about this one. This one, everyone always asks me, and I've decided. So this one's really long. I've decided I'm going to stop reading them because it's mine, and I don't want to have to read my tattoos out loud. It's just something. It's something a friend wrote for me at one point in my life that sometimes I look at it and I go, yeah, I like that, and it makes sense. And sometimes I look at it and I go, yeah, I wish I hadn't done that. This one, however, I am very happy about, and these are Seka runes, and it says heroin with an E, so heroin, not the drug. It's the name of my very first screenplay I ever wrote that won the New York Film Festival.
Nice.
Which is what sent me on my career into filmmaking, and it's one of my favorite scripts I've ever written. So I put it on my arm because I love it. I named a company after it. Like it's my thing. So
nice.
Mm-hmm. So as far as two-party consent stuff, I do struggle with it. I do think that there are certain circumstances where, like, let's take journalism out of it for a second. Let's say you are a constituent and you walk into a congressperson's office and they go off on a rant at you, or they're being violent towards you, or they're telling you things that are illegal. You should be able to record that.
You can record that. That's a public space with a public official.
In their office, inside their office, sitting with
That's
them.
contextual. That's contextual. But if
That's
you are
what I'm saying. There is a gray area. There's a gray area that we need to figure out.
If you're a constituent, I believe that is a public space, but they can ask you to not record it. But what like James O'Keefe does, where he gets people into restaurants and pretends to be somebody else and records them, whether or not whatever he's getting is valid or not, that's really unethical and in many cases illegal. Thank you so much, Beth, for becoming a new member. By the way, if you don't want to become a member, or if you have become a member and you want to throw a little extra our way for our work, I have pinned the tip links in the chat. I will not play Judge Jolene's music every single time somebody sends a tip or becomes a member, but I hear it in my head, just so you know. I do hear it in my head. She's so funny. She's so funny. I watched so much Judge Jolene this weekend.
I did too. Oh, sorry, Shauna. Sorry, I didn't mean to click that off, Rebecca.
Okay.
Shauna, we take the.
Oh, now I can't hear you. Oh, there you go. Now I can hear you.
We take the kids to Delaware, to the beach a couple times a year. So we're in Delaware at the beach because their school ended last Wednesday. So we usually go like right after they're done with school. And we had a $4.99. Somebody gave us $5. Thank you.
Jen Toxic. She said, Mel,
I have one.
Tattoos.
Okay, off, please. I have one on my chest too. Is the first one I got. And it's, it was a bad decision because I was 18 years old and you couldn't, when I lived in Texas, I don't know if it's still the same, but it was illegal to get tattoos in Texas in the 90s. So you had to go to Oklahoma, where you had to go right over the border. So like in New Hampshire, when you cross over from Massachusetts into New Hampshire, the first thing that's there is a liquor store because there's
giant
no tax.
Liquor mall.
Giant liquor outlet. And it's on both sides of the highway because you need to get it when you come in to New Hampshire and when you leave New Hampshire because there's no tax. It's the same thing in Texas, or it was, going into Oklahoma. Rubes, you can't get I guess you can get in the bed. Come here. So when you pass over into Oklahoma, one of the first things you used to see would be a bar and a tattoo parlor because Texas was a dry place in a lot of areas. Do you know what dry is?
Yes.
You're not allowed to drink.
Or
you're not allowed to dance or sell liquor. So yeah, when I crossed over to the border into Oklahoma and got a tattoo, and I went to this, it was like a biker bar tattoo place, and I laid down on the table, and then when the guy was like, "Where do you want it?" I was like, "I want it right in the middle. I want it right on my chest." And of course it was like tribal because it was the 90s and we didn't know yet that we weren't supposed to do that. And he was like, "Okay, well, this is like a ballsy move, putting it on your chest first thing." And the first thing he did was he grabbed my boob and said, "I'm going to need something to hold on to." And then he proceeded to tattoo my chest.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's very sweet.
It's a mess.
That's just a wholesome story.
It was infected. It was awful. It faded immediately. It was the worst tattoo ever. I want to get it removed. So yeah. Emily Sloan. So here's the thing, guys, with the Venmo. I mean, I guess, Rebecca, maybe we should make a plan to do this, but we get several tips that come in through Venmo and Cash App and PayPal. I would like to honor all those people, but I don't know the best way to do it. So Emily, first of all, thank you. Off the top of my head, I have no idea how much or what happened, but thank you so much. I really appreciate you. We just need to figure out a way to best
yeah, I need to be monitoring it during the show, which is a little tricky because that's Mel, so she has to monitor during the show. Yeah, and we're already looking at so much stuff, but other people are able to do it, so I guess we should figure out how to do it too.
I try to. So what happens is when we're on and people tip us, if it pops up, because I have the notification on my phone. So if people tip us while we're on and the notification pops up, I try to say thank you as soon as that happens. But I might miss you, and I'm sorry if I do. We might want to do eventually. I think we might want to move into an area where we do something similar to what Aiden does, where when people do Cash App or Venmo or PayPal, we read out their comments. Like, I would be happy to do that. We just need to figure it out.
But I will never not read out other comments too. I'm never into the thing where I only read paid comments. Just so you know, I don't care if we have, if it means that we lose money. I don't care. Sometimes people have comments, and I would like to read. I'm not going to read every comment, but if something's interesting, you don't have to pay to be interesting. So Jolene doesn't collab. She's so nice.
I wanted to address this.
She DM'd me this weekend after I thanked her for mentioning my quote professionalism on her show, which I really appreciated. But then she said on her stream, somebody was suggesting she do collabs, and she said she doesn't do that, which good for her. If she doesn't have to do it, it's less work, I guess, but she's doing great. Yeah. God, you hear it rain on her show. Oh my God.
She is funny. And I love that she plays Cardi B every time she gets a super chat.
She's so funny, and she's so apt. Her observational sense is so attuned, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that she talks about so much reality TV. And my favorite word she uses is "cry bully." I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I think I said, what did I call her? What did I say?
I don't remember.
Pick me. Oh,
pick me.
A lunatic pick me, basically.
Lunatic pick me. Yeah, but it's the I don't want to talk about this now, which listen, I want to say there's a lot of things I disagree with that you say, Turtle Boy, but I'm one of those people who, when I get mad, I cry, even though I'm being really reasonable and like everything I'm saying. But like my anger response sometimes is the tears coming to my eyes. So I don't think that every instance of crying is necessarily emotional manipulation. That being said, when I'm in a work situation, a professional situation, or situation like that publicly, I would extricate myself from being mad or from the moment, so that, because I know how that comes across. To some people, they just can't comprehend somebody just having that physical reaction. That being said, there is a reflex that some people have when they're deflecting or when they're, I don't want to talk about this now, and that's making me really upset.
Yes.
So, and sort of rolling with that. And I think that's what Jolene's talking about with the cry bully thing. And it's a great word. It's just a great word.
I do. I also, one of the things that does bother me though about the YouTube platform, there are a few things that bother me, but the idea that, people are sending us, YouTube takes a lot of money from us, right? So we do have ads on the channel. They take a good chunk of those ads away from us. But also, whenever someone sends us their hard-earned money in a super chat, YouTube takes 30% of that. And that really pisses me off. And I want to figure out a way to not do that.
Well, I also think that Venmo and PayPal and Cash App are good alternatives. Also, to be fair,
they still take money too, though.
To be fair, very little. To be fair, when we were starting this channel, we were very insecure and did not value ourselves enough. And we made our entry-level membership $3. So we are also taking money away from ourselves.
Right. Yeah. That was probably my fault. I mean, like, it's difficult for me people work really hard for their money, and they are giving us money because they appreciate the work that we do and the content that we put out and the way that we interact with our audience and the subject matter that we talk about. I want to make sure it's affordable for people, and I want to make sure that we can have as many people. I'm one of those people that's like, I would love to have 100,000 followers and have each one of them give me $1. You know what I mean? But we also have to make some money, and so when we're starting out, I have no idea what we're going to do. I want to make sure people have access to us. So
I don't mind the $2.99 thing at all. I just, I did the same thing on Crime Writers when we created our Patreon. We made the entry level like $1. We ended up sunsetting that entry, that level, because we have it. So if someone ever gave $1, they still get whatever tip jar benefits we have. But our beginning one is $5. But I was like, the reason I sunset it was because we had a $5 level, and I created an additional level that was $6. And so like more than half of the people, because they got something extra at $6, like went from $5 to $6. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like a lot, but for us, it's 20%.
Yeah.
So if you have 1,000 of those people, that's $200 more. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's like, it was definitely eye-opening for me that $1 is $1 to a person, but 1,000 times $1 is $1,000.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just some inside baseball monetization stuff that you guys don't need. You need to make me watch something or listen to something. That's why we're here today, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hold on. I just wanted to get through some of these comments before we get into that though. Ladybird, Mal, I freaking love you because same, I love you right back. I understand M Danger. We are worth more. I appreciate you saying that. Let's see. Jolene, do you know if she's okay? Do we need to ask her permission to play some of her stuff on our channel? Because
No, we could probably play it. She plays other people's stuff on her channel all the time.
yeah.
I think it's fair game. It's fair use. Where we'd be talking
Yeah.
about it. We don't have to do that right now, but
There's
absolutely
so
can.
many men you know, it's really funny. You can tell who some of the men are in our chat this morning because they're the ones who are acting like D-bags. I'm sorry. Like people being like, "Oh, I'm not going to name names." People being like, "Well, you wouldn't no one would know who you are if you didn't have YouTube." Fuck off, dude. We were doing things before YouTube. We just decided to get on YouTube because this is fun. Like being able to
This whole house was
sit
paid for with
down.
audio, guys.
Yeah.
FYI.
Are you kidding me? Like
Yeah,
you
we're
no one
fine.
would know who you are without YouTube. Fuck off. I'm sick of
Just
hearing it.
a different set of people knew who we were before we came here. Some of them are here with us today.
But then we
Oh,
have people
sorry.
like
Sorry.
But then we have people like David, who I'm assuming, I don't know, maybe I'm assuming your gender, but David, thanks for becoming a new member. Glad you're here. Thanks for not being a D-bag. Law Girl said, "Hey, I can't even get my stupid AdSense on YouTube to work, so you're ahead of my game, LOL." Yeah, I mean, AdSense annoys me too because it's like AdSense only pays out once a month, and it's usually late, like today. It should
just
have
like
been paid
Patreon.
yesterday. Yeah. So anyway,
Actually, Patreon is pretty regular. It's the ads for podcast ads.
guys,
it's supposed to come out on the 19th, and then sometimes it's like the 22nd, and you're like, "Where's my check?"
Listen, I understand that YouTube is taking their cut because they're giving us this platform. YouTube is a gazillion, badillion, zillion dollar company.
A third is a lot.
A third of your pay is a lot for the content that you are creating. Do you know how much work we put into this? Never mind. I'm not going to go
a new Patreon. So we're grandfathered into the old Patreon, which is really small, and this is for Crime Writers On. The new Patreon rate is 10%.
Yeah.
And then it gets lower if you get really big. It's like they start at 10. And it's
I expect everyone, when we're using a platform, to take money from us. That's why I said Venmo takes money from us, Cash App takes money from us, PayPal takes money from us. I understand those tiny little fees that they take. They make a shit ton of money off of just transferring your money. Like, think about that. They're just, someone puts money into that account and you transfer it. That's what you're paying for. So PayPal makes a shit ton of money off of us just for transferring money. They don't charge us 30% to transfer that money, you know? And it's like,
but that's also, they're making money by transferring the money because they're sweeping it. It's all a scam. So YouTube is already monetizing our video. AdSense is a small cut of the money that YouTube is making. So they are already making money from us and then taking 30% more. So the hearing today, if about Colin Albert, is at 3:00. I do not believe it's going to be Zoomed, but I do believe there could be another pool situation like there was last time.
Probably.
There's also going to be, I was hoping it would come out this morning. It's supposed to be today, a bombshell, or I don't know about bombshell. Aiden Carney just said, you'll want to read this filing in the defamation suit that he is filing today. I was hoping it would come out this morning. If it comes out during the show, we will not cover it during the show. We'll cover it next time, or we'll make an extra stream, whatever. Probably cover it Thursday. So yeah, so non-D-bag man here. Thanks, Chad. We love you, Chad.
Hey, Chad. Thanks,
Sleepless
buddy.
Sleuth. Thanks for becoming a new member, Sleepless Sleuth. We really appreciate you.
And also, Save Lar 81, new subscriber. We're over 10,000. That's because of you all.
Yes.
I love
because
y'all.
of y'all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So thanks to those of you who tweeted about trying to get us over that 10,000 mark. It's means so much to us to see other people say that they like what we do. And it was really lovely of you. So we really appreciate that. So thank you to Ben. I know that's not your real name. Thank you to all the others who did the same. Thank you, Breenan's Deviated Septum, for becoming a new member. We appreciate you so much. So much.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yes. It's the MLM of the future. Just get 10 people under you, and one day you'll get to go to Williamsburg, Virginia for Hun's party.
Okay, this is what last week we went over the hearing to compel. Okay, this is one of the 4 civil suits.
Oh, this is O'Keefe versus Reed and the Bars.
This is the wrongful death suit is what
Mhm.
this is. And this was the motion to compel Collins' deposition as well as documents, and then whoops, he went off to the army. And so what we watched last week was the second half of the trial, because that's what CBS posted first.
The hearing, yes.
Was the hearing. The CBS posted the second half of the hearing when the judge was sort of going in hard on Tuxbury, who is representing Colin as well as some of the Haas defendants. We didn't see the first half of the hearing. I didn't even know it existed. And I thought it was hilarious that the antis immediately had this conspiracy theory that mainstream media, corporate media, legacy media, CBS, which is not any of, I mean, it's all mainstream and it's
There's
all
a
legacy.
local
It's all those
CBS.
things.
This is a local CBS affiliate. This is not CBS News. It's a local CBS
I
affiliate.
understand that, but it's still owned by CBS. My point is that the antis had this amazing conspiracy theory that CBS News had chosen the side of the Free Karen Reed movement because they only showed the second half of this hearing. No, I'm assuming what happened was because the court yanked the Zoom 15 minutes into when the Zoom was supposed to start and said, hey, by the way, we're going in person. The camera pool was already there, probably started recording, but they couldn't broadcast until 15 minutes into the hearing, which is when we all realized that's when the hearing was starting.
That's right.
So these antis, like, I feel like we would have weeks worth of dumb tweets to put out if we just focused on them, because the idea that there was any kind of a conspiracy with mainstream media choosing Free Karen Reed over the antis because they only played the second half of the hearing is one of the most moronic takes I've heard thus far, I think.
Speaking of lunatic pick-me's, not you, Fuzzy Cat. Thank you so much for becoming a member. You're the opposite of a lunatic pick-me. Lunatic pick-me would be a great merch. By the way, check out our merch on our YouTube store. I'm going to be creating a new item today to celebrate our 10,000 subscriber milestone.
And Mrs. Bouquet says, keep doing what you're doing, and has been a member for 2 months.
Nice.
Thanks, Miss Bouquet. We love you. We appreciate you. Okay, well, let's watch. So what we're going to do now is we're going to watch the first 13 minutes or so of this hearing, because it's actually very saucy. Judge Gildea and Rosenberg are fighting, Rebecca, like literally fighting. And I am very interested to hear your take on Gildea, because thus far you have said he's been really great and sort of impartial. I really want to hear what you have to say after you hear this, because Rebecca, we're doing a little cross roasty thing here. This is going to be very uncomfortable, and Rebecca hasn't seen this yet. So for those of you who have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Aaron, thanks for the tip. You're amazing. Don't let YouTube take your bag, is what Aaron said. You were amazing. Thank you so much. Appreciate the tip that just came in from Venmo. All right. You ready for this, Rebecca?
Yes.
Okay, let me make the screen big. I might freeze because I'm having to work on just my computer right now. So sorry about that, guys. Okay, here we go. This is the beginning of the hearing for the motion to compel Colin Albert's deposition as well as his documents. So here we go.
Let's start with plaintiff's motion.
It's going to take, just FYI, Rebecca, it's going to take me a moment to pause it if you want me to pause it. So if you say pause and I don't do it right away, I have to go to a different tab. So that's what's happening here. But Rebecca's not hearing me because she's tapping on.
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing
you. Keyboard. Why can't I hear this?
I can hear it.
You can hear it? I can't hear it.
I can hear it.
What the frig? Okay, hold on.
Motion is moved because you responded to requests on May 21st. Right?
There you go.
As of the filing act, yes, but I haven't updated that.
Hang on. You go on to say.
Look at Gildea.
Now it's looping.
In the submission that
You can hear it?
pointed out.
Stop. It's echoing.
That some of the exhibits that you.
I'm hearing it twice. It's a slap back in your audio.
There's nothing I can do about it. You might have to pull it up.
Okay, send me the link. Is it on the thing?
It's because I have to, it's coming out of my computer speakers and it's
Yeah.
in my earbuds, or
Does
it's
not
only in
sound
my
good.
computer speakers.
It does not
Okay, hold
sound
on. I'm
good.
sending you the link. Oh wait, I have to email it to you.
I have the link. I have the link. I have it.
Oh,
It's in the document. Now I have to figure out how to share my audio because my audio never works. Remember? Let me change accounts so I can have my.
I mean, I can play it for you, but I won't be able to hear the audio.
That's not good. I don't want that.
Nope.
No one wants that.
Oh
Okay,
my
hold
God, this
on.
place is so-
And I need to. This is so unprofessional.
No,
See, and Judge
it's
Jolene said
fine.
Judge Jolene said I was profesh. She was.
It's so okay. You are come from the world of being professional. This is not that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Rebecca cannot start drinking this early in the day.
Okay,
of
now I
show.
have to figure
She
out.
gotta go to her day job.
There's something with my settings where when I share audio, when I share a screen, the audio isn't working. So hold on one second. General audio.
Let me go. I'm going to go through some chats while you're doing that.
Okay.
At least our conspiracy M Danger said, oh no, sorry. Andrea or Andre, I'm not sure, said at least our conspiracy theory is based on the facts and the evidence. I guess she's responding to M Danger said something. The antis are more conspiracy theorists than any other. And then Andrea said, exactly, at least our conspiracy theory is based on facts and evidence. Yeah, well, sometimes. The antis also believe the earth is flat, Bob said. I don't know if that's true, if they believe that, but if they do, I worry about them. Listen for the threat from Judge Gildea, Shaza says. Let's see. Mel, you sound great. Thank you. I'm glad I sound better. I don't know if I sound great, but I know I sound better.
Okay, tell me if you can hear this audio. You ready?
Yeah, everybody got the echo. I can hear your audio, yeah.
Yeah, I figured it out. I figured out what I was doing wrong before. If you do window, audio doesn't work. If you do tab, audio works. And I was doing window
because it's a PC. That's why.
Correct.
Because it works fine on my Mac.
Okay, you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Go.
So let's start with plaintiff's motion
Just want to say it's in stereo, and that's fucking me up.
to compel responses. And let me start out with a question to the Attorney Rosenberg. In your opposition, you're basically saying the motion is moot because you responded to requests on May 21st, right?
As of filing that, yes, but I have an update that we
Hang
both
on.
have for you.
You go on to say in an email that's attached here, oh, I should also point out, in the
Jesus.
submission that you made, you pointed out to the clerk that some of the exhibits that you had submitted were not complete copies. So for the record is clear, you submitted complete copies of 3 exhibits that the court has substituted for what was in there because they weren't complete, correct?
Correct. I think that relates to the other motion, however, but yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
So in your, there's an email in there as well that you say there will be a future production.
That's the update I have for you.
Is it all produced?
Yes.
Do you agree?
To be clear, I can't give you a definitive yes or no, Your Honor.
He
When
bought
did you
it.
get it?
Well, to the court's probably dismay, we're actually in a
So I don't know if you've noticed this, and this is something that I think a lot of law tubers have brought up already, including like Brother Counsel. But this is Buck. And remember how I was asking you, I was like, who is that guy? And you were like, I think he's there instead of Diller.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people positing that Diller like sent him instead because he didn't want to have to face what the judge had to say about the second part of this hearing. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do think it's very interesting that Diller is not there and Buck is there in his place. And we very rarely ever see Buck. We might see him, but we don't hear from him.
I love that his name is Buck.
Buck. All right. That's all I had to say.
Okay.
Jolene is not a judge, Romy.
No, she's not. She's a comedian who calls herself Judge Jolene. Her name is Jolene Lunzer.
morning, which is
Great.
nice to report. And
That wouldn't cause dismay.
yeah, I wasn't sure. I knew you might cause shock. I didn't know if dismay would come along with it. But that being said, Attorney Fell, my colleague, and I were in attendance for this morning's deposition, and Attorney Diller is unavailable at the moment. I received an email on or about 11:24 a.m. this morning from Miss Reed's counsel acknowledging that a production to our supplemental request had been made. Following the completion of today's deposition, I got in the car and came here.
Let's not waste any more
Yeah,
time on
can't
this.
confirm.
All right, you don't know, you just got it, you just sent it.
Our team, yes.
Your team.
Yeah.
Well, we'll use the collective.
All right, good, yeah,
okay?
that's fair. You're right.
All right.
Yes.
All right, so let's move on. We're done with that for now. All right? Anyone need to be heard any further?
Not at this time.
Do you need to be heard any further?
No, Your Honor, not on that motion.
Okay, so let's go to the next motion. And that's the motion relative to compelling Mr. Albert. So Attorney Rosenberg. And I guess to all the attorneys in this case, and non-parties that are involved in the case, the pleadings I'm getting in this case, and I'm sure that I will get in the McCabe case, are replete with arguments presented as facts, which isn't really helpful to me. And there's a lot more background in these submissions than I really need to decide the issues. So I'm going to ask
Sometimes.
all of you in the pleadings that you filed, at least with me, just write what I need to know in order to decide the issue and stop pandering to social media. All right? So now let's get on to your motion.
Uh-oh.
And let's,
Very interesting take. And I, by the way, 100% agree with this judge that the pleadings are way too replete with statements from both sides. Given as facts.
Reserve your opinion on
I know.
that.
But also, I
Okay.
do not think that they are pandering to social media. I think they're pandering to us and to Melanie Little.
I have a question on, with respect to your motion.
Can I just make one quick comment, Your Honor? Our memo, I agree with you, but our memo of law is 9 pages long and it has a page and a half of argument. So we're not pandering to anyone and we don't intend
You
to.
raised it, so let's talk about it. Let's go to page 3 of your motion.
Oh, here we
right?
go, motherfucker.
This is why I'm saying I don't agree with the judge on this one
And
totally.
Top page, we don't have to restate the words, but end of the first sentence to the end of the second sentence, end of the first line, not to the end of the second line, all right? Now, how old was that individual when they went to the wedding?
I don't know, Your Honor, but
So is it really, you don't know, so is it really, what if he was a ring bearer? Is that really relevant to the issue I have to decide?
absolutely it is.
Yes.
Because
If a young child's a ring bearer at a wedding, okay, go to the line above there, okay? The words in quotes. Whose words are those? Because there's no reference, no citation to it, which makes it totally not helpful to me.
Understood, Your Honor, and that point is taken. However,
Well, who is it, do you know?
I believe it's her defense counsel.
Her defense counsel. You're citing a statement in quotes from your client's defense counsel. How is that relevant or appropriate, especially without citation?
But if I could take the first question first, and then I'll answer your second question.
I agree with the second part of that question, by the way.
The first
Sure,
question.
of course.
There's a significant relevance objection to Colin Albert being deposed or producing any documents in this case. You see it throughout the lengthy
I don't
opposition.
think the opposition is to producing any documents.
I would disagree with that, Your Honor, and I'm happy to explain why. But there's a significant relevance objection overall to Colin Albert being a
I know
deponent.
there's a relevant objection, but I don't think
Thanks,
facts,
Dad.
claimed facts like that are really relevant. They're nothing but attempts to sensationalize certain things. So let's go on to the real
Well,
issue.
Your Honor,
No,
please-
Wrong.
Let's go on to the real issue.
You're wrong,
Your Honor,
Judge.
if
You're
you're going to point
wrong.
out that something is irrelevant, I'd like to please just very quickly address why I disagree with you.
I've read everything. I know why you think it's relevant. You
Well,
think
you-
it's relevant because they don't want to produce anything and they're trying to minimize the involvement.
Can you pause
You're
it for a
trying
second?
to do the opposite thing. I understand.
Yes.
So what I find really interesting about this, and it's going to get even more heated in the
I can't
next
wait.
couple of minutes. Yeah. I talked to my friend Matt, who is Pam's post-conviction attorney, about his relationship with judges and a lawyer's relationship to judges. And I think it's really important to remind everyone that a judge is not a lawyer's boss,
Correct.
right? A judge is a boss of the courtroom, but
Mhm.
they are not the lawyer's boss.
Mhm.
And one of the things that really, 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 really bothers me about this back and forth is the judge is saying something and basically bringing it up and putting it on the record, but not allowing Rosenberg to put his side, his argument on the record. This is not like, I think we get into an area where the judge, because keep in mind too, judges are usually lawyers. They were lawyers first. I think do they have to be a lawyer? I'm not
No.
sure, but a lot of them were lawyers first. And I think that Judge Gildea, based on the way that he speaks, based on the way that
He was a lawyer. He was a lawyer.
he was a lawyer. He for sure was a lawyer. So the way that Judge Gildea is handling this situation is really frustrating to me watching it, but I can only imagine how frustrated Rosenberg and Seligson are, because this hearing is supposed to be about argument. They are supposed to be able to stand up and make arguments and sort of debate and work things out almost in real time in front of the judge, as opposed to a judge being like, you're going to see this in a moment. The judge asks Rosenberg a question and says, I just need a yes or no answer. He's not cross-examining Rosenberg. He shouldn't be allowed to handle it this way. Rosenberg is allowed to put on the record and argue and debate his side, his reasoning, when the judge brings it up and when the judge asks him a specific question. It is unfair. And to me, it almost seems,
I disagree
I'm
with
not
you
sure.
completely, just FYI.
I'm coming
being
from the
very patient.
perspective. I know I'm coming from the perspective of the way that a lawyer explained it to me.
Right.
I tend to agree with him. If a judge is saying, and this is part of the reason why I was frustrated with Canoni as well, because she wouldn't hear the lawyers out. She was assuming beforehand that she knew where they were going because she had been a lawyer herself. She was assuming beforehand that she knew how they were going to do this. And so she was jumping in and saying, I don't need to hear what you have to say. I understand what you're saying. Here's my ruling. That's what this judge is doing too. I don't agree with it. They are supposed to be in this hearing to hash this shit out, and they're not being allowed to do that. Go ahead.
I think a judge can run their courtroom pretty much any way they want to. That's the way it works, unfortunately.
Sure.
This is why you should elect officials that will appoint trustworthy judges. And then, because that is your recourse here, not you personally, but everybody's recourse here. I also think that this judge, if this judge were saying this to Diller, we'd be thrilled. We'd be fucking thrilled. So I think if we can take it, we need to be able to give it. I also think that thank you, by the way, Bobby Jean, for becoming a member. I also think that this comment, Lori, this is not about you, I promise. Lori Ballou, you're very nice and I really appreciate you being here. I hate the term social media harassment. Mute the people who are saying things about you don't like, and guess what? You're no longer being harassed. That's how fucking social media works.
I have a question about Lori's comment. Can you put it back up?
Sure.
I didn't get a chance to read it.
She says, and this is what kind of allows for the social media harassment on both sides. I think she's basically referring to the fact that there's a two-sided thing here that I don't know what she's referring to, but the word social media harassment, the word social media harassment really get under my skin. If you're not a child being told to kill themselves on social media, you are an adult who is publishing things on the internet. I'm sorry, I'm not going to spoil what I'm going to talk about tonight. Never mind. That term really bothers me. I'm not spoiling what I'm talking about in our members only thing tonight about the creator drama, which in my mind is very different, I think, than it is for other people. Yeah.
Kat Toes, I agree with what you're saying. Whether a judge understands isn't the point. The lawyer's making a record is the point. A lawyer is
always
also
file something, but that's their recourse. They do have recourse. Their recourse is to file a piece of paper that is part of the record.
But this judge is also telling them that they're doing too many filings.
Right.
So
okay, that's his right.
At some point,
he's a judge.
But we can't say you can't put this on the record, do a filing, and then chastise the attorneys for doing the filing.
He said
So
it's
like,
too long. He didn't say too many filings. That's what I heard him
who
say.
gives a fuck? I mean, this is,
I
these are
do.
people's rights.
I agree. This is a civil case, however.
Mhm.
Okay. This is about people winning money for a perceived wrong that was done to them. He is trying to make, this is not Karen Reed on trial for murder. He's trying to make the process clean and expedient, and he's allowed to do that in the way he wants. I have a lot of respect for the judiciary, and I'm uncomfortable when people go after judges for doing something very fucking normal. I'm very comfortable with people going after judges for doing something that is not normal, but this is so normal. It really is. It really, really is. And
I don't know if what we're about to see is normal, but
okay.
okay.
Well, maybe I haven't seen it
Yeah.
yet, so maybe I'll change
Yeah,
my
that's
mind.
the
But
thing.
so
All right,
far,
let's-
it all seems very normal to me.
Yes, it's about to get real heated.
Okay, can't wait. Can't wait.
But you just told me you don't think it's relevant. I think I have the right to tell you why I disagree.
I don't need all that
Yes.
background, all right?
It's not background, Your Honor. It's a
I think
significant
it
point.
is. Let's move on.
Well, how is the
Let's
relationship?
move on.
How is the relationship
We're
between?
either gonna move on or we're gonna end the hearing.
We're gonna
Okay,
end
well,
the
Your
hearing.
Honor,
Okay,
I would
can you
note
pause
for the
it? I mean,
record, I'd like
seriously.
to address the point that you just made.
Yeah, he said we'll either move on or end the hearing. So he wants to
Okay.
move on. Very
So-
normal.
But okay, but here's my point. So what if Rosenberg goes, I don't want to move on, let's end the hearing? How does that get anybody anywhere? Let
That
him
would be
make his
bad
argument.
advocacy for his client if he said that. So he should never say that.
I don't know about that. And this judge is being very difficult. He's not hearing, and I disagree. I think that if Diller, hey Lindsay, thanks so much for the tip through Venmo.
Yay!
I think that if Diller were saying, I don't have any issues with lawyers making records. I remember I was listening to the sidebars, and I remember listening to a sidebar where Alan Jackson told Judge, Bev Canoni, hey, listen, this might take me 4 hours. And she goes, I don't care if it takes you 4 hours or 4 days. You take as long as you need to question this witness. They are allowed to take the time they need to put on the record what they need to put on the record.
Not if the judge says they aren't, because that's the judiciary.
Then
Checks
what's
and
going to happen
balances.
is this judge is going to be continuously appealed on his shitty decisions.
We don't know that he's going to make a shitty decision yet. He's made some great decisions so far in this case.
Okay, I disagree.
You don't
Let's
think he's
keep
made
going.
good decisions so far in this case?
I think he's made some good decisions, but I think otherwise he's just getting like, he how we get annoyed because Diller and Tuxbury are constantly like, well, we couldn't get through it because there's, we didn't know who to talk to because there's 10 lawyers and they're, like, who do we talk to? Who do we send it to? Who do we blah, blah, blah. The judge gets in on that too. It's just so ludicrous. Like,
Okay.
get rid of all the stupid shit.
I just want to say something. So someone here, Shaz, I love you, Shaz, says moving on discredits the importance of Colin Albert to this case. No, it doesn't. And here's why. The judge can read. They're basically saying they're discrediting Rosenberg's case here that Colin Albert's important. The reason that moving on doesn't discredit that is because the judge has the material that's been submitted, and he has stated, I can read. I have read it all. And he will decide based on the merits of the filings. He does not want more sort of like gamesmanship in his courtroom. He's tired of it. And he's made it clear he can read because he's made decisions based on stuff he's read that we were surprised by. I think a lot of us are used to watching criminal trials. This is a civil trial, and this is how it works.
I think that maybe
I think it's completely appropriate so far.
Okay, I think that maybe do you want to go back though and listen to what the questions he asked about Colin?
I just did. Yes, I heard. He said, what if Colin was a baby? How does it matter? He's getting what he read. It
does matter though.
I get it. But I'm saying I did hear what he said. And I'm just saying he's just being a judge right now. He doesn't like all of this. He doesn't like the Diller stuff. He doesn't like he doesn't like what he's reading. He doesn't like these filings. And he's lumping everybody together, which is unfair, but that's also his right to do it. He's the judge.
I think
Are you mad at me for feeling differently than you? Don't be mad at me.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to understand and like approach this in a way that is like constructive and moving forward for, for us, because I feel like maybe we're not hearing it the same way, or maybe
we're hearing it the same way. I hear it. I'm hearing it. We're hearing the same thing. We are hearing it in different ways. You are hearing it through an ear of justice and truth, and I'm hearing it through an ear of the judiciary.
Yeah,
I'm
and
just-
I don't trust the judiciary, and I think they have too much power.
they're not, no one is supposed to have more power. They're supposed to have just as much power as the executive and just as much power as the legislative. Everyone is supposed to have
Yeah.
the same powers.
I think the thing that I'm hung up on is the idea that
No,
Gildea.
everyone is saying, I need to let you win. You're right. This is completely unfair.
What do you mean?
No, folks are just saying, I need to let you have the W on this one.
What
I
does
don't,
that mean?
to me, it's just not, you know what? I think this is more, I think that the unfairness is more important to you than the not unfairness is important to me. So I'm willing to stipulate that this does not look great.
Yeah.
Just because I have a higher
Okay.
tolerance for it doesn't mean that I think it looks great.
But the thing that I'm hung up on is the judge saying, you're giving me all this extra detail about this person that I don't need. And I think the issue here is that the judge may be able to read the filings, but he is not as familiar with this case as the lawyers who are working on this case. And that means, and what I mean by that is the case of Karen Reed, the 2 trials and all of the witnesses. I don't think that Gildea is as familiar with all that information as all of these lawyers are. And so when he's like, what does it matter if this kid was in the wedding party? What does it matter if he was 2 years old or 10 years old? And Rosenberg is like, it does matter because we are trying to establish the relationship here. And if you don't understand what the relationship is, then we have a problem.
Just a point of
That's my
correction,
thought.
Shaza. He wasn't declaring Colin not relevant. He was declaring Colin being in a wedding party not relevant. That's very different. This judge knows a lot more about this case than any other judge who's touched it, because this is not the only case he's involved in that is surrounding the Karen Reed story. He's getting this information from lots of lawyers and lots of venues. He knows the facts. He knows the facts that have been presented to him. He absolutely does.
I don't know if he knows the backstory. I don't know if he understands the Karen Reed, like the 2 trials and all these. He may understand, like, he brings up social media a lot, so it makes me think that he actually understands like the drama that happens on social media. But I don't know if he knows all the characters that are at play here and what their history is with this case.
Right.
But anyway, we should keep playing it.
This is a good point. This is what I'm trying to say. Maybe the judge is helping Rosenberg. Yes, this is, in my opinion, the judge is saying, make your points, just don't make them this way. Don't quote defense lawyers as fact in your filings. Don't put this kind of stuff in. I don't need it. Make it relevant in the filings so that we can talk about real stuff and not why this language is in here or not in here. That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we just hear it differently.
Referring to something as irrelevant, which I think is actually highly relevant. If you're not going to allow me to explain that in 2 sentences.
You don't know how old the person was at the time they attended the wedding.
Correct. But that doesn't impact the relevance. The relevance is the relationship between the families. That's the relevance. And that's the only reason it's referenced there. I don't think the fact that the families were close enough to attend weddings together is irrelevant to whether Mr. Albert is relevant to this case. But I'm happy to move on to your other question. I think, I don't know if you need an answer, but I take your point about quotation marks without a citation and the effectiveness of including prior statements of counsel and pleadings, and we'll keep that in mind.
Not helpful.
Understood.
So now let's go on to some other questions I have about what happened here. Your office, not you individual.
Collective you.
Your collective you.
Yes.
Issued a notice of deposition on February 11th, 2026 for a deposition over 2 months later on April 29th, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And a subpoena was issued on April 15th.
Correct. Thereabouts.
No, well, that's the date on it.
Okay,
We can look at
thanks.
it.
Thank you so
Compelling
much,
production
Joan.
of documents 12 days later on April 27th. And the subpoena was not served for 6 days. Would you agree with that?
If that's what it says, I don't dispute the general point you're making.
So my first question is there a reason that you would wait 2 months after issuing a notice of deposition to issue the subpoena?
Well, there were a lot of moving pieces schedule-wise, as you're aware, Your Honor.
No, the notice of deposition said the date of the deposition.
Understood, but obviously those change.
Why do you wait 2 months, less than 2 weeks, closer to 12 days, to issue the subpoena and not serve it for 6 days?
Well, the service is dependent on the process server. I don't have an answer for you why it took 6 days.
No, it's not. The service is dependent upon the constable or whomever you hired to do it. Right?
Correct, Your Honor, but they're the ones that go out and
So
try to
maybe
find
don't
me.
wait until 2 weeks before the deposition.
Understood, Your Honor, and I don't disagree with you. But when that issue was raised, in no form did anyone on our team say to Colin Albert's counsel, you have to get us those documents in the 8 days because that's what the subpoena says.
That's what the document says. And I'm going to remind you of the provisions of Rule 45, which says a party or attorney, okay, responsible for issuing and serving a subpoena must take reasonable steps to avoid imposing an undue burden or expense on a person subject to the subpoena. This is a non-party. You served a subpoena asking for 4 years worth of information to be served in a very short period of time.
And that,
I don't think that's complying with either the words or the spirit of Rule 45.
and that's why, Your Honor, I don't have a problem with that. And that's why when that issue
Why did
was
you do
raised,
it?
because it took, there was a lot going on in the case and it took longer to serve than probably we would have wanted it to. And so, Your Honor, when counsel raised that and said exactly what you just said, you've only given us 9 days to appear and 8 days to produce, whatever the specific numbers are. We said, we understand that. We are going to work with you on negotiating and conferring on the scope of the subpoena. And secondly, because of the time limit, we are going to reschedule the deposition so that we can resolve this document production issue, including when a production would be made before the deposition, so that Mr. Albert doesn't have to come back twice. So I'm not fighting you on that, Your Honor. I agree. And when it was raised by Mr. Albert's counsel, they didn't get pushback on that, on the timing. And so I'm not defending that. It was an oversight, I think, and I would prefer that it had been served 30 days before.
With all due respect to someone that's represented by 3 law firms and at least 10 attorneys,
That's
it's hard
bullshit.
to envision that it was an oversight.
I disagree. I mean, he's saying that the lawyer, Rosenberg, just admitted that the subpoena was served too late. And then he's trying to sort of like talk about other stuff in the law, but they have the resources to serve subpoenas earlier, is what the judge is saying.
Well, he also said, you know, part of that is up to the people
Process server.
who,
Yeah.
the process server. And the judge says, no, it's not. It's up to the constable. The constable is part of the process serving team. Like, let's not, like, why is the judge splitting hairs? You know what I mean? Like, this is stupid. This whole conversation is a waste of time. It was late. Part of it has to do with the fact that this case is gigantic and it was given to a process server on this date and it took this long to get to the place. Why if the judge is worried about wasting time, that's what we're wasting time on here. But that's my opinion.
But I also think this negates the idea that the judge isn't letting Rosenberg talk. He's letting him advocate for his client very forcefully here. And I think that's exactly what the judge is supposed to do.
I think that the judge is supposed to do that. And I agree that he's allowing him to advocate for his client, but he's also, there are places where he's not allowing him to be put on the record, where he wants to be put on the record. And I agree with, somebody said it earlier, that Rosenberg should have said, I would like to put this on the record and you are not allowing me to put this on the record. And I think that would have been the best way to go about it.
All right.
Because then that goes on the record.
Got it.
At
You
the
know?
deposition of a non-party, deposition subpoena doesn't go out until shortly before the deposition and 2 months after the notice of deposition.
Your Honor,
I will
frankly,
also
there's
say,
no
I'm
basis
sorry,
for
can you
that.
pause one more time?
There's-
I will also say, I think that everyone's playing games here. Don't get me wrong. I'm
Totally.
not saying that Rosenberg and Seligson aren't playing games. I'm not saying that at all. I'm also saying they shouldn't be asking for 4 years of communications, only a few days before those communications are due. And I think that more than likely what happened was they aimed, they're aiming high, knowing they're going to have to negotiate down.
Mm-hmm. That sounds right.
But the problem is that, they did it only a few days before those documents would be due, which is stupid. The 4 months seems completely reasonable to me. Absolutely reasonable. 4 months after the day that John O'Keefe died seems completely reasonable. Now, we can also get into, probably not today, this morning, maybe later on Thursday, I would like to go over Colin Albert's affidavit.
Mm-hmm. The unsigned, the undated, unstamped affidavit.
The affidavit. I would like, and also the screenshots of that were really funny. Like the copy of it was just like half of it.
Dead.
But he changed the details of his testimony again. And I think that's important, and we should be talking about that as well. But
absolutely, let's save that for Thursday.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
Nothing intentional that has been done here. I agree with you. It should have been done sooner. And I apologize that it was not done sooner. And when it was raised by counsel, there was no pushback on it. And I think if you ask counsel, they will confirm that there was not pushback on the time.
Let's skip down ways to April and in May. And am I correct that your office knew of Mr. Albert's availability and unavailability in the month of June? Were you made aware of it?
When?
Were you made aware of it by Attorney Touchberry?
When? At what point? Eventually, on, I believe, May 20th, the email is an exhibit.
May 20th. So.
And May 20th, just to be clear, the explanation that we received was between now, May 20th, and June 2nd, Mr. Albert is available. We propose, I believe it was May 27th and May 28th. After that point, Mr. Albert will be unavailable indefinitely without an explanation. Frankly, the first explanation that we received was in the motion, or in the opposition to the motion. So yes.
I know you call into question the manner in which Mr. Albert's deposition was noticed by the plaintiff's attorney, and I'm not arguing with that. But am I correct that you had notice of that deposition?
Were we aware that the plaintiffs planned to proceed with their deposition? Yes.
Yes. And even if the notice may have been deficient, as you reference in your pleadings, you or your team, like you like to refer to it, made an intentional
that was inappropriate.
decision not to appear.
Yep.
Without coming to the court at all.
So first of all,
That's a yes or no question.
well, I don't think it is
See
a
that
yes or
right
no
there?
question, Your Honor.
Either
We were
Exactly.
aware. We were
This is
aware,
not a
and we didn't file a
cross-examination.
motion. But again, I'd like.
It's not, but he's fighting here. I don't think that he liked it as, I don't think I liked your team, as they say. That was nasty. It would also be nasty if he said
I don't
to Diller.
like that. Is it a yes or no question? I mean, you're asking a question, allow an attorney to respond to it. He's not a witness on the stand.
Mm.
You know?
I'm going to turn it up. I'm going to make it a little bit faster because I just don't want to be watching this in real time. It's a little tough for me. 110 is good. Okay.
To address why that is, if you're going to raise the issue.
Doesn't bother me. It just seems
May I
slow.
address that?
No.
I know why you didn't, because you claimed you wrote about it, why you didn't. It's in there, I read it.
Well, if you're asking about it at the hearing, I'd like to address the point.
There you go.
So
There you
what
go.
happened was we served the subpoena. As you say, we have a team of lawyers. Different lawyers are taking different depositions. The lawyer that's taking the deposition drafts, serves, and prepares the subpoena and prepares for the deposition. We did all of that. We complied with the rules, with your exception about date and timing is taken, well taken, and it won't happen in the future. However, otherwise, the subpoena was fully compliant with the rules, and the rules require us to be able to take the deposition. We didn't say it has to happen on this exact date. What we said was we will reschedule it to another date. The recipient of a deposition subpoena doesn't get to choose when the deposition happens by playing games like were played here and are laid out in our papers. Mr. Albert's counsel was notified in this back and forth in the emails that are attached to the motion papers that the attorney who was prepared to take Colin Albert's deposition was going to be away on 2 particular days that they had proposed. That one of those days, 6 days later, is the one that the plaintiffs chose. So the attorney who had prepared was not available, as was told to Mr. Albert's counsel. The notice, as you referred to, was issued in direct violation of Rule 30b-1. So we provided notice to all parties that we believed that deposition could not go forward pursuant to that notice, and we can
Thank you so much for the membership, Kells Bells.
continue to believe that. But if the question is, did we come file a motion for a protective order? No, because we don't believe we needed to.
Attorney Tuxbury,
Yes, Your Honor.
when is Mr. Allen going to be produced for deposition?
He appeared for that deposition on the 28th pursuant to subpoena, and then he is.
Hang on, let's lay the groundwork.
This is the part we saw, right?
Yes, we are. That was everything.
I thought that was going to be so much worse than it was based on the way I read about it.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
It was not. It was there wasn't a spank. I mean, I saw the anti-camera people being like, he got a spanking. He didn't get a spanking. He got asked questions about his overly long filings. He got
I don't
asked
think he got a
questions about
spanking.
when he knew things. He got asked whatever. He was challenged, as we've seen Tuxbury and Diller and Buck be challenged, which we all like. And he's basically like, the monkeying around. What I hear him say is, clean up your shit. You don't need to do all of this shit in order to get me what I need, because I am reading everything and I'm not stupid. That's what I heard him. That was the spanking part that I heard. So,
Yeah, I don't think he was spanked. And I think that Rosenberg, what I liked about what Rosenberg did was he reminded the judge, hey, we're on the same level to some extent here. Like, you're not my boss. You need to allow me to say what I need to say. Even though you and I disagree on what the judge, I think this went the way it should have gone, which is Rosenberg standing up for his client and for himself.
That's the thing.
That's what I
Emily
appreciated
says.
about it.
In the end,
Yeah.
he made his argument. He did a great job advocating for his client. The judge let him do it, which means that he was reasonable, because we now know that this judge isn't going to let someone do something if he doesn't think it's reasonable. I actually really like the way Judge Gildea manages this courtroom. I like it because he's open, talking about pandering to social media, which I don't think he's doing. But judges are aware of the record, and they are aware that the decisions that they make are part of their judicial legacy. You can't look at this series of hearings and say that he is anti O'Keefe's. You can't. You can say that he has said to the lawyers for the O'Keefe's, that's fucked up. Don't do that anymore. Not in those words. And you can say that in this case, for these set of lawyers, he said, you're overwriting your depositions. You're including your filings. You're including things that aren't facts, and you're attributing your quotes poorly. And Rosenberg conceded all that. He was like, yes, yes, and yes. And then he asked him questions about timing on serving. He is right. I looked up the rule. It is the lawyer's responsibility to make sure that the process server does it efficiently. They don't have information that Colin dodged it, which he may have done. If they did, I'm sure they would have presented that. So he presented what he had. The judge challenged him on some things, but he's, I think, basically saying this has got to be a straight case for me, for you, and for them. And that's how I interpret this whole thing. I thought it was going to be way worse than it was compared to just because of what I read on social from both anti people and pro people.
I think you should I think you should go back and watch it when you're not having to talk, to an audience or to me, because when I first listened to it, when I first watched it, I was like, oh my God, why is it so contentious? Like, what is happening here? And then I started looking at the filings, and I realized, like, when Gildea is pinpointing, Colin being the ring bearer and all that stuff, go back and read that part of the filing. It's actually really relevant what they're talking about.
I read it
in there.
I read it in preparation for this.
Okay, good. And so if the judge is not, if the judge is quibbling over, you don't need to tell me how old he is as a ring bearer, some of that stuff is important.
Rosenberg got to say that on the record.
Yeah, he did. But after being chastised for it, after being like, if the judge is worried about wasting time, then stop wasting time chastising people for stupid shit like that.
Thank you, Jeannie, for becoming a member.
Also,
taken.
thank you, Sarah, for the $10, and happy Pride back to you. Thank you so much for the tip. We just disagree on how the judge is acting.
We disagree on the intent. I agree. I think he's handling the courtroom very, very well. And I don't think, when you look at the transcripts from trial 1, and we watch videos from transcripts in trial 1 for Karen Reed, I see a very different, I don't think she was a perfect judge in trial 1 by a long shot, but I see a very different version of her than I see in trial 2, where she clearly has some animus about the defense. I mean,
yes.
And I am a conservative person who doesn't throw things out there like that lightly, but the number of objections.
A conservative person?
I'm conservative when it comes to saying things.
Just
about
want to make
judges.
sure you're. Just want to make sure.
Conservative meaning I don't jump to the most like radical
Yeah.
explanation of things. Like that's not typically
Yeah.
how I do it, except that I do have a conspiracy theory mind in some ways, like aliens and shit, but whatever. But she is a radically different judge than she was in trial one. She
Yes.
clearly has some animus against the defense. Hank Brennan did some open prosecutorial misconduct in trial two that went unchecked. And when called out, she did not acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And there was a real problem there. So I'm very comfortable with that. We look back at that trial record, we see a judge who was like that. When we look back at this trial record, it's important to Gildea to see a judge who is not like that. So he's going to call out Rosenberg for the same exact type of thing he would call out the O'Keefes for. Now, we know, because we are PhDs in this case, that the O'Keefe's case has little to no merit. We know that. So in our mind, he should be calling them out more because of the merits of their filings or whatever. But he's calling Rosenberg out for the same types of things he's calling the O'Keefe's attorneys out for, which is process, writing, overly long, hyperbole. He has called both sides out for that. So I believe the record of this case is going to reflect some good judging. But that doesn't mean that he feels that way about the merits. What he said about Rosenberg in this hearing does not mean anything about what he thinks about the merits of the O'Keefe case. It does not mean anything about that.
Yeah, I agree. I think he is being very fair in calling both sides out. I'm talking about the substance of the record, though. That's where I have an issue. I also have an issue because it seems like we've seen a few judges, including Bev, sort of act this way in court in Massachusetts, and I'm just like, I'm over it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of
your tolerance is lower than it used to be.
Yeah, and also, and to be fair, like what you were just saying about Bev, I remember I felt that way about Bev from trial one through trial two. You were giving her the benefit of the doubt. You were giving her the benefit of the doubt because you have a friend who knows her and who said,
I also really I respect the judiciary generally.
Yeah.
And I'm really upset by attacks on judges who are ruling the way that people don't want them to rule in federal cases. And that, I believe, is trickling down to state cases and civil cases and local cases. And I just think the judiciary is as important as the executive and legislative branch. So I tend to be a little more reserved because I see that branch being attacked more than any other branch and being degraded and eroded more than any other branch.
I come from the perspective that judges have far too much power over human beings. And especially judges who are appointed, judges who were not elected, judges.
I think elected judges are honestly
both
in terms of the record.
I will say this as my broad stance is judges from the Supreme Court all the way down have far too much power and they sit for too long on the bench. I'm thinking back to, we all made fun of and thought it was hilarious to watch the judge in Aiden's TRO case, but that was a travesty.
Yep. Agreed.
That was disgusting.
Agreed.
That man had that much control over those two people.
Agreed. That's a systemic issue, though. That's a systemic issue.
I'm good, but I'm thinking all the way back to Judge Gray in New Hampshire and the bullshit that he pulled in the Pamela Smart case. And I'm not saying that the jury made their decision in Pam Smart's case based on what the judge did in that courtroom, but when you have a judge saying things like, I hope Clint Eastwood plays me in the movie, or completely dismissing and Bev did this too, completely dismissing juror misconduct when it's real and it's happening. When you have a report of someone sitting in a local bar and telling everybody in the bar what's happening in the court case and what everyone on the jury is thinking, that is a credible report of jury misconduct. And if judges are just going to disregard that, or judges who refuse to change counties, change location, judges who think about how hard the defense had to work just to get the ARCA experts in this trial. Imagine if Bev had gotten away with discounting the ARCA experts and saying that they weren't, like the same way she did with the dog bite expert. What would have happened in this case?
Mm-hmm.
That is one person with the power to say, I don't believe these people are experts.
Mm-hmm.
In Veronica Rodriguez's case, the judge did not allow the expert who wrote the book on and travels around the country training police officers on how to investigate sexual assault cases. The judge did not allow that man to take the stand and testify on her behalf, but he allowed the report in.
Right.
That is too much power. These judges who are like, look in the Aaron Spencer case.
I don't disagree with anything. You don't have to make this argument to me. I don't disagree with you.
I'm just
But
saying,
I think that, that's why I think when you see a judge who's doing their job well, you shouldn't lump them in with those guys. That is because the legislature attacks the judiciary. The executive branch attacks the judiciary. People attack the judiciary. The judiciary's power has been eroded when federal officials ignore court rulings. The judiciary is being degraded, eroded, and attacked. In the 1990s, there's a politician named Newt Gingrich, who was a linchpin who forever changed our political discourse. Forever and ever changed it. C-SPAN was there. He wanted to be on C-SPAN all the time, just talking. He created many of the political talking points that we still hear today from both sides of the aisle. And Newt Gingrich was the one who changed the meaning of the word activist judges.
Yes.
He meant what he changed it to mean was he changed it in the public's mind to mean that a judge is doing stuff because he's a Democrat, or a judge is doing stuff because he loves abortion, or but what judges do
is they opening up so many things. Okay.
They apply the law, and that's what they're supposed to be doing. The bad judges apply the law in ways that are detrimental to people. The good judges are the one who take the law very literally. I think Gildea falls into the literally camp, and I'd rather say someone like that is not abusing their power to my eyes than assume they are because they say a few things I don't like in the courtroom. I really worry about the judiciary. The judiciary is the most important branch of our government, period, because what the Supreme Court decides actually determines the policies by which we live our lives. That is a Supreme Court. When you vote for president, I have long said, think about what kind of judges they will appoint, and that's the person you should vote for, even if they're not in your party. That's what you should be thinking about.
And I also want to say that, speaking of activist judges, the Supreme Court, we have conservative and liberal judges on the Supreme Court. We've already broken it down into two parties.
And it used to be conservative appointed and liberal appointed, but the judge nominees themselves were not particularly political except for a few litmus test issues. And now they are overtly political.
Now we have activist judges.
Yeah,
thank you, Newt
literally.
Gingrich. We have activist judges on the Supreme Court. So, and I'm saying that for both sides. I'm saying both sides push their agendas, and they shouldn't be doing that. Those judges are not supposed to be sitting on the bench to push any agenda. They're supposed to be sitting on the bench to make decisions based on the Constitution and our laws.
And they sometimes do. I mean, Brett Kavanaugh made the decision in the Curtis Flowers case about picking juries by discriminating against Black people in that case. And that's why Curtis Flowers got an unfair trial. And that's why it was overturned. There are certain issues that the judges are handling really well, even on the Supreme Court. There are certain cases they're refusing to take up because there's no constitutional issue here. But there's many, many cases where it's clear that politics have infused it. So I'm not attacking the Supreme Court when I say that. I'm just telling what's true about it. But what's happening is federal judges who are abiding by the law have bodyguards now. They're getting bomb threats in their courtrooms. Their families are being attacked. They have to live in hiding in some cases. This branch of the government is everywhere, and it is being attacked at an unprecedented level. And I'm very sensitive to it, which is why I don't love social media parlance about a judge sucking just because they said something that we didn't like. I'm very sensitive to that.
Okay, can I just say one thing? I'm feeling a little offended by what you said.
I'm sorry.
And I just want to put it out there. I don't think that Gildea sucks, or I don't think that.
Oh, I didn't think that you said that. I was talking about Twitter.
Okay.
I was talking about Twitter.
I have really, I am triggered by who I think are. I don't think Gildea is a bad judge. Let me just put that on the record. I do think the snarky bullshit. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Be a fucking judge. I'm so sick of the snarky bullshit. And well, you got 10 lawyers. Oh, really? You guys, you need to be working. I don't care if this is a holiday. It's Juneteenth. Like,
Fair.
I'm sick of that shit.
All
Do
fair.
your fucking job. That's
All
what
fair.
that's my point.
All
So
fair. And I don't disagree with anything that you just said.
yeah. So I want to make sure the audience understands. We say this all the time. Just because I am like, this is me being passionate, I am not mad at Rebecca.
And I'm not mad at Mel at all.
I love Rebecca.
Mel. Mel is my
Rebecca.
favorite person. I love you too, Mel.
So we're both very passionate about this kind of stuff, and we have very different brains sometimes when it comes to this kind of stuff. And I think that's what makes our relationship interesting and important.
That's why you should send our podcast a tip if you like watching us debate civilly.
Pay me.
Look, we have civil debates that don't get weird.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
Where did that come from?
I whenever I hear that like monster voice come from me, I think of the snap into a Slim Jim.
Oh my God.
commercial.
Do you know how much I fucking love Slim Jims and beef sticks? It's like my favorite.
First
food.
of all, I love jerky. I cannot eat a Slim Jim. I
like
can't
them
eat a
both.
Slim Jim. I can't do it.
I don't like the Slim Jim brand. The brand is not as good
stick
as
of meat.
I
A
love it.
greasy stick of meat is weird
Love
to me,
a
but a
greasy stick of
dry.
meat.
No, I can't.
That's why you're a
Can't do it.
lesbian and I'm not.
Exactly.
You don't like a
You
greasy stick of meat.
Greasy stick of meat.
You think you can handle me?
No.
You're hot.
No, Higgy. I can't. I cannot handle you.
Boy.
That is the problem.
Is this because
That
I'm a
is the
lesbian?
Yes.
Oh, now we're both hitting buttons.
I didn't hit that button.
I hit that button. Sarah.
That's the way I
Lewis,
interpreted
I
it.
already said thank you.
I love that one.
Should we start wrapping this up? This is
Yeah, because I actually do have other things I have to do today. And then we're
Like a
going
day
on
job
again
and
live
stuff.
at 5 for our members only, where I will drink and we will discuss in depth with the intelligence that you've come to expect from us and some snark.
Jesus.
The
And some
drama
nuance,
happening,
quite a
the
bit of
drama
nuance.
happening in the little pocket of the internet that we live in. I'm not calling it a community. I love you, Will, but this is not a community. It never has been. This is a pocket of the internet, and it's a pocket of the internet that I super love. And I have very strong feelings about some of the behavior I have been seeing in the community, and I will explain why I have those strong feelings. And it's not because I'm an asshole who likes to kick women when they're down. So you guys can take that thought with you. If you don't want to see us talk about it tonight, you can opt out. It's members only. And so that somebody has not watched the beginning of this podcast, which was the Serena
Patty,
Williams
you need
show.
to go back and watch the beginning
Mel
of this podcast because I
Spots
talk about
Connor.
it.
Spots Connor.
Yeah. I talk about what I think about Serena being in Wimbledon. I'm very excited about it. Serena's my idol. So go back and listen. Cassie, thanks for the $10. We appreciate ya. We love ya. We're gonna be back at 5:00. Let's just tell for the people like Patty who weren't here in the beginning, let's tell them what we're doing tonight at 5:00.
Tonight,
Instead of our regular.
Instead of Mel making me watch something that I don't want to watch, we're going to be talking about the Jess Machado, Turtle Boy, Will stuff that's mainly revolving around Jess Machado that people are calling the quote drama in our quote community. We're going to be discussing that. I've thought about it very, very carefully, whether or not I wanted to talk about it. I've thought about how I wanted to talk about it. I've sent myself copious notes about it, and I have really strong feelings about some of the media stuff around it. So we're going to be discussing that. If you want to see a little Rebecca rant, it's going to be happening tonight at 5:00.
Yeah, Rebecca's definitely really
really
more
fired
fired up about this than I am. I'm annoyed with it and so sick of these people.
Look at my notes
And
to
I'm
myself.
I'm sick of the
Those are all my notes to myself about this.
I'm really sick of the petty squabbles. I'll put it that way. I'm also sick, and like I said this in the beginning of the show, I'm really, 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 I'll talk about this later. I'm really over people weaponizing police against people they don't like. I'm really sick of that. It's the most Karen thing you can do. The
Yes.
Karenest thing you can do.
And
It
don't
is
report channels. Don't fucking report channels.
Don't be a lunatic pick me. Don't be a cry bully. I'm fucking sick of it. Can we act like human beings again? Even if we're mostly online, can we just please start acting like human beings again?
It is. Someone
Stop
says it
being
is also dumb,
idiots.
but it also isn't dumb because it says something about the state of media right now that is very
people.
important to me.
I am
And-
really worried about people. I'm worried about our psychology right now. I'll be honest with you.
I agree. Thank you so much, Cammie Hawkins, for becoming a member. Become a member tonight And for tonight's stream, if you want, and you'll see us just talk about as much of it as we'd like to talk about. Feel free to opt out again if you just want to come for different kinds of streams and not this one. That's fine with us. Sunset Seeker, thank you so much for becoming a member. And please consider throwing the show a tip. Our Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal are pinned to the channel. And
I hope this is not true, Emily.
It is true.
I hope this is not.
It's 100%
out of
true.
here. Fuck off. What the fuck is wrong with her? Sorry. What we're talking about is Emily said, by the way, JM Macchiato is now apparently trying to dig up dirt on Judge Jolene. Fuck all the way off. I'm so sick of it.
Mel, save it for the podcast, the members only podcast. Save it.
Stop into a Slim Jim.
Keep it in your pants till then, girl. Keep it in your pants.
Charlie Rachel, thanks for becoming a member. Okay, we love you all. I am going to end the stream now. I'm hitting the button, which means that we're going to have just a few seconds